says that this young man is very determined at age 22, not only to lead his team, but just be so determined to get it done, no matter what his level of efficiency might be. There is some risk, certainly, in going out there with an injury, but he's quite willing to take that risk.
I agree entirely. I think he quickly has ascended to a leadership position on the team, along with Jose Altuve and maybe some others you could name. But he's a guy that I think everybody really looks to. You can look through the course of the year, Brownie, the big hits he's got to win games, and I think he is that guy that will lift the team on his shoulders when the time's needed.
Well, Correa at his familiar position of shortstop. Here's the opposing lineup. Mike Scioscia and the Angels go to the field with Yunel Escobar leading it off at third base. Cole Calhoun's in right field. It's Mike Trout in center. Albert Pujols is the DH. C.J. Cron plays first base. At shortstop is the Wizard, Andrelton Simmons. Nick Buss is the left fielder with Jet Bandy, the catcher, and Gregorio Petit. At second base, the pitcher will be Jhoulys Chacin.
Brad Peacock goes to the mound for the Astros tonight. He's been pitching some pretty good baseball, by the way. 3 starts this season. No win or loss, but that ERA says he's pitched well, as does the whip. Lifetime against the Angels, he's had great success, 3-0 over his career.
Yunel Escobar, who hit a big home run last night in the 9th inning, takes a good fastball for strike 1. Escobar tied the game in the 9th inning with a 2-run homer. And then the Angels went on to win it 10-6 last night. He taps this one slowly to third base. Gurriel will let it roll foul, and that worked out for the Astros. It rolled under his glove and then turned foul.
Yeah, the question was that intentional or not? I think it was. But watch Gurriel come at this ball. He'll put the glove down. And, yeah, I think that was intentional. We'll play it that way anyway.
Okay.
As we take a look at our Super Mole presented by Mattress Firm. Yeah, you see how he flares the glove back toward his forearm. Clearly he let that ball go, and that was very wisely done.
He went with the Matador technique, and it worked out very well. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes, rather. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that play in a while, but he saw the way the ball was spinning, obviously, and determined that he had a better chance to let it go and to try to make the play. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Escobar.
I would imagine he left the third base umpire wondering, was there any contact made there?
That's true. Makes it a little bit of a different call. And a slider gets a strikeout. Slider's been a much more effective pitch for Brad Peacock recently.
Sometimes he has a tendency to get under that pitch and leave the rotation in such a way that you get the cement mixture that we talk about oftentimes, just kind of floats up there. But when he gets on top, he's had great success.
Peacock gets out number 1 in strikeout fashion. Cole Calhoun comes up next. Calhoun, the right fielder, checks in with 17 homers, 68 runs batted in. He's 1 for 10 against Peacock, who throws ball 1.
94. That's rushing it up there for Brad Peacock.
Yeah, that's probably about the tops we've seen for him since he's been with the Astros. Feeling a lot better now after the back problems have been solved.
Oh,
ball, 1 strike.
If he can bring this 93, 94 kind of stuff, you could see him as quite a viable starter for a while.
Well, as you know, everything's on tonight's game. That's the way the pennant race goes. But there's also next year. These players have a chance to impress for next season.
Whoa, how about that?
Beautiful movement there. 1 and 2.
A little change mixed in.
Well, you mentioned 3-0 is his career record against this club. Yeah, that's some good movement there on Calhoun. This is his 4th career start against the Halos. Curveball gets him a strikeout. He's mixing things, Ash.
Well, you see in 4 pitches. Has the slider to go with the 3 we just saw there, fastball change and curveball. Yeah, if he can kind of command those a bit, he's got a chance.
A good start for Peacock. Now Mike Trout is the batter. Trout having another magnificent year. And there's strike 1 with a shift on. Trout at .316 is 5th in batting average. He leads in on-base percentage, tied for 3rd in runs scored, 4th in slugging. 27 steals and another all-around season for Mike Trout. And we checked in on his wins above replacement. It stood at 10 last night. Tops in the majors. Oh, that's a good-looking pitch.
It sure is. That's that fastball right there at the bottom of the knees, and every pitcher lives for that pitch. Apparently, some umpires don't.
Jim Joyce, the crew chief, is the home plate umpire. It's 3-1 now to Trout, and Trout leads in walks in the American League.
When you lead in walks, you get a lot of walks. You get those close calls.
Ground ball rolls out to Correa. Good throw over to Tyler White, and a 1-2-3 first for Peacock. The Astros come up in a moment. Up with this starting lineup for AJ Hinch. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. George Springer leads off and plays right field with Yuli Gurriel at third base. Jose Altuve plays second, batting third to clean up and at shortstop. Carlos Correa with DH. Evan Gattis batting fifth. Then it's Marwin Gonzalez in left field tonight. Tyler White at first base. Jason Castro the catcher. Jake Marisnick in center field.
Jhoulys Chacín on the mound for these Angels, 28 years of age, out of Venezuela, and now in his 8th year in the major leagues. 1-2 lifetime against the Astros. And he's been turning in some good starts for the Angels in recent times.
Sure has. It's his third different try at the starting rotation. George Springer leads it off. That runs inside, ball one. Springer starts the night at 250. George has 28 homers, 78 runs batted in with a .447 slugging percentage, and he's 7th in the majors in runs scored with 111. George fouls that one back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chacín, since he was traded from Atlanta to the Angels back in May, has relied less on his fastball. That trade was May 11th. He's one of 15 different Angels starters this year. That's in for a strike to make it 1-2 on Springer. Chacín has several different selections he can feature with the hitters. We'll see how he plays it tonight. 45 and 57 in his career. That's lined up the middle, knocked down by the second baseman Petit, but he can't find the handle, and Springer is on. Hit hard up the middle by Springer for a single.
Well, I imagine the emotions went all over the place for George Springer. You hit that solid shot up the middle, you figure it's a hit, but oops, there's the second baseman, and then the clank, and that really was a tough play.
Springer's aboard. Yuli Gurriel follows, and the number 2 hitter at 274 has 3 homers. He's driven in 14, hitting .306 here at home. Gurriel takes, and it's ball 1 to Yuli. Really is 1 for 8 in this series. He had a hit and scored a run last night. Since Alex Bregman went down, he has hit second in each of the last 8 games prior to tonight. It's 2-0.
Some kind of Abbott and Costello skid here, isn't there, with Julius facing Yuli?
Yeah, there would be one if we could only come up with it, Ash. The Astros had beaten the Angels 11 straight times until the last 2 nights. 2 balls and a strike. So far, the Angels are spoiling the weekend with back-to-back wins by scores of 2-0 and 10-6. A.J. Hinch would love to see things turn. It's 2-2 as Chacin breaks one off. Chacin first broke into the big leagues with Colorado in 2009. 2011 he had a 3.62 ERA for the Rockies, but he walked 87 in 194 innings that year. This season he's walked 43 in 104 innings. So the Astros might benefit from being patient, and from the scouting report we got on Chacin, when he nibbles, he really is not effective. But as you indicated, lately he's had things together. Last 2 starts very good for Chacin. And he gets a strikeout for out number 1.
I think that was probably off the outside edge. Taking a look at our MD Anderson strike zone, and let's see what we find out here. But with a couple of strikes, trying to protect, and then we're just struggling a little bit. Protecting becomes all the more difficult.
Jose Altuve is the batter with a .338 batting average, leading the American League. He has a 17-point lead over Mookie Betts. 24 homers, 94 runs batted in, a .474 average against the Halos this year. And that is strike 1 on Altuve. See the Los Astros jerseys tonight. Major League Baseball is celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with a special MLB logo, and those jerseys, the Astros have worn them before. He is 4 for 10 against Chacin. They all wore the t-shirts to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month as they came out for batting practice tonight. All 30 major league clubs with the MLB Acento logo in their team colors. And in celebration of it, you see there, and in celebration of what's going on with this Hispanic Heritage Month, we have Jose Cruz in the PA announcer's box today alongside Bob Ford, and he is giving the announcements in Spanish. And he announced the Astros players' names right after Bob Ford did as well. So it's kind of a bilingual effort today in the PA booth.
Cheo is crushing it, by the way.
He's doing well. It's great to hear his voice throughout the stadium tonight. One of the all-time fan favorites here. What a player. Altuve hits a foul ball, and that goes back out of play for Jose. He's 3 for 8 in this series. The Street Fest featured Jose, featured Mr. Cruz, and there's the Cruz family there, in fact.
That might have been the first time that son agrees with dad.
Yeah. Jose Enrique was there. He works for the Astros, and colorful dresses. Very nice way to lead into this game. Now Altuve gets the 1-2 pitch next and fouls it back. Well, Altuve, with just a few games remaining for the Astros, 8 games left, including this one, trying for that late season surge.
Jet Bandy wanted this pitch up. Watch him. And then it winds up right through the gut right there. Altuve certainly missed one he'd love to have back.
Yeah. Jose has 206 hits. Second in the majors right now. That one goes over shortstop, out into left center field. And there is a no catch by Boss. It gets by him. Here's Springer going to third, and the throw is offline, and Altuve moves into second. Well, Nick Boss ran in and appeared to be about to make that catch, and then perhaps it was lost in the lights, but he just didn't catch it.
I've got to say that had to be in the lights, and that is the type of trajectory that will get right in the lights. Semi-line drive. And at this point, you can see he just doesn't have a clue. Yeah.
The way he reacted there, it appeared he was unable to track it all the way. It's ruled a double for Altuve. That's his 41st double of the year. And Springer hustles to third. A break for the Astros. They get Correa to the plate with 2 men in scoring position and 1 out. Escobar, and they'll put him on intentionally to load the bases here for Evan Gattis. And the Correa fan there wanting to see Carlos swing the bat. That is not going to happen. This is the 5th intentional walk to Carlos this season. Gattis is 3 for 16 with the bases loaded. And he'll be batting with 1 out in the inning and 3 men on after this free pass. It sets up a 4th at any base for Mike Scioscia's club. Well, Gattis with 30 homers, 67 runs batted in. Get a shot at giving the Astros the lead here. Big opportunity early for the Astros to seize the upper hand. Gattis is 0 for 6 in this series. He had a couple of walks last night going 0 for 2. This time he's been a 30 home run hitter in his career. He's at 100 for his career now. And the slider works for strike 1.
Pretty large outside corner on this slider.
You bet it was.
It's hugely expanded.
About as wide as Interstate 10 there. And that one sinks. Gattis tried to check, and he did on appeal to the umpire at first, Chad Fairchild. 1-1 to Evan. 317 career with the bases loaded for Gattis. That one is off the plate. And I-10 just shrank. 2 balls and a strike. Marwin Gonzalez, who had an awfully big hit last night, will be next.
I don't know where some of these guys come up with their practice swings.
Oh, that's there for a strike, and it's 2-2. Gattis fooled by that pitch.
Could have only been looking for the heater on the 2-1.
Springer, Altuve, Correa, the base runners. Excellent speed for the Astros. Foul away. Astros get the opportunity to gain a game on Detroit. The Tigers blew one in the 9th today. Kansas City got 5 in the 9th to beat them 7-4. Francisco Rodriguez, the Detroit closer, had 2 men on and 2 outs in the 9th inning with a 4-2 lead. 2 strikes on the batter. And the Royals struck for 5. Eric Hosmer hit a 3-run homer. That's there for a strikeout looking. Well, the slider fooled him twice there, and that strikeout number 2 in the inning for Chacin.
Something mesmerizing going on there. You mean other clubs have games get away in the 9th inning too?
They do.
Big hit last night. How about that one from Marwin Gonzalez? It looked at the time like it was going to get the Astros into that win column. It didn't work out that way.
That was in the 6th inning when the Astros scored 5 times. His hit tied it, and they went up and only to lose it when they gave up 6 in the ninth, 10-6. Marwin began his career 3 for 30 with the bases loaded, but he's gone 4 for his last 5. He's 2 for 5 with 3 runs batted in this series, and there's ball 1. And last night he had that bases loaded situation for the hit you just saw. So the wild card right now finds the Blue Jays 2 games ahead. They won today over the Yankees. The Orioles and Tigers are tied at 83 and 71. Mariners are a game and a half back. The Astros trailing by 2. Tyler White's on deck and hits the corner, and it's 1-1. Marwin has single season highs in homers, runs batted in, hits, runs, games played. This is his 135th game played. He's played every defensive position other than catcher. And that's a ball, 2-1.
We're going to have to get him behind the plate someday.
Ooh. Nobody would volunteer for that, Ash.
Nobody with any sanity at all.
You're a very sane man. How did that ever happen?
Nice of you to say at this stage of things.
How did that ever happen to you? Bounce foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, you've been through a few of these the last week pennant races. What's the feeling compared to May?
You know, every game is an intense opportunity for every player. They do get more intense at this stage. You realize what all your hard work has gone into and why you put it in there. You give yourself that chance to get into postseason play, and that's what every player should dream about. I just think it's that realization of the hard work paying off, and now let's make it pay all the way.
Marwin is hitting .289 against the Angels. 5 runs batted in and 45 at bats against their pitching this season. And fouls that one. Last time out, 5 innings at Texas for Chacin. 6 hits, 1 run allowed. And the start before that at home against Seattle, he gave up 1 run in 6 innings. So that gives him 2 earned runs allowed in his last 11 innings, covering 2 starts and no decision in either one of them. Last time out, he threw 91 pitches, 61 for strikes. And Marwin had a lengthy battle last night in that bases loaded at bat in the 6th inning before he hit a 3-2 pitch for that 2-run single. Liner, and on one hop, it's flagged down by Petit. He throws to first and gets Marwin. And the Astros are turned aside in the 1st inning with no runs, 2 hits, and 3 men left. 0-0 after 1. Root Sports is presented by Lexus. The new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid, it's next level luxury. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. And by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Beautiful view. Nothing. We go to the second. Albert Pujols taking. There's a fastball for Brad Peacock, and strike one to Albert. Pujols has been a force in this series so far. Fastball hit. And there's the center fielder legging it back, Jake Marisnick. That's where pitchers love to get their outs, to center field in this ballpark.
Apparently they get a lot because the numbers say, whether you're looking at Astros hitters versus pitchers or the road teams, pitchers have had the advantage here in this ballpark.
Sure have.
I don't know who the advantage goes to there.
Oh, Julia might know. C.J. Cron's the batter, 277, 16 homers, 67 runs batted in, and it's ball. She gets to sample all these items, right, in various ballparks.
It's one good gig.
Peacock comes in with a 92-mile-per-hour heater to even the count at 1-1. With a quick pace, he gets a pop-up here. And that's back out of play. 1-2. Heard an interview with our buddy Steve Sparks from the Astros radio broadcast and Brad Peacock a couple of days ago. And Brad talked about how relieved he is to be healthy again. He's gone through some issues. It was a really good interview. He's had back and hip problems. And he's just relieved to be able now to go out and compete without having those worrisome injuries. You know how that can be as a player.
Oh, sure. You work so hard. And I remember a couple of springs back, Brad showed up in just what looked like spectacular physical condition. And he was throwing the ball well in the spring. And I think a number of us thought, wow, it's going to be a big year, but it didn't work out that way. Injuries intervened again.
That's his third strikeout.
Astros fans, don't forget that we love showing your comments and reactions from Twitter during the telecast. Be sure to mention @Root Sports Southwest in your tweet, and the best chance to get it on air if you do so.
We're going to check out a few of those. Tigers lost. Great opportunity for the Astros to gain ground in the wild card race. Matthews supportive. Andrea is on board. Andrelton Simmons with a crack bat roller to Carlos Correa is the sixth in a row to be retired by Brad Peacock. 0-0.
Bottom of the second, And the couple that you're seeing, the girl is on the phone right now. Love is in the air for these two as they were engaged this afternoon right here at the ballpark in center field. AJ Hinch happened to be working out. He was jogging around the field. He saw them taking a tour, but then he saw him drop to a knee and propose to his girlfriend at the time. So he ran over there, congratulated him, offered them his ticket. So they're in great seats tonight. They're getting to see the ball game from a really great spot right behind AJ there, just to offer his congrats that way. Really cool story, guys.
Have you ever heard of that?
Have I heard of it?
Yeah.
I'm dropping to a knee out there in center
No,
field?
the manager giving his tickets to.
I haven't, no. It's a great story, though.
Yeah.
He just happened to be running by. Just great timing.
I've never heard of that one. That's a good story. Thanks, Julia. So there they are in AJ's seats, really close to the action, and they're not paying a bit of attention to it. He's ball one. And a strike to Tyler White. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tyler has hit .333 in 12 games in September. He has really lit it up. .220 now for the season. 7 homers, 27 runs batted in, but 7 for 21 this month. Had another key pinch hit RBI single last night, and he bangs one up the middle here. Hit number 3 for Houston.
What do we have here?
We have a slimmed down hitting machine.
We do. Boy, he's been great coming off the bench, and one of the comments from AJ the other day was that he felt like Tyler White, this version, is a real viable starting player, and so he starts out the ball game in a positive fashion.
Leadoff single for White here in the home second. He looks over at Gary Pettis giving signs from the third base box. Jason Castro at .215 has 11 homers, 32 runs batted in, and he's a .250 hitter against the Angels pitching staff. Castro 3 for 7 in this series, and there's ball 1 to Jason. Had a pair of singles last night and had a caught stealing. Out toward the center fielder Trout, who hustles in. 1 out. Jake Marisnick will be next against Chacin, who had a complete game win against the Tigers on May 30th.
There have been some pitches to hit here for the Astros hitters. They have frozen on some of the sliders, and Jason Castro got a fastball right there in a very happy zone. Watch this. I mean, that's, you just can't ask for better. And see the disgust on Jason's part.
Yep. Flip that bat away. Now Jake Marisnick at .212. He has 5 homers, 19 runs batted in, but .296 against the Angel pitching staff. He bunts, but he fouls it. Oops.
I'm hoping he used bat and not thumb to foul that with.
Looking down at that right hand.
He got hit somehow there.
He had glanced off his hip. There's Jeremiah Randall coming out.
That hand, he was reacting as if he took something on the hand.
Yep. See it there.
Just he might have got a pinch job on the thumb or the first finger.
Yeah, that gets pinched up against the bat. That's some pain.
That running fastball starts coming in more than you realize as a hitter. Oh boy.
Well, the closer Ken Giles was injured during batting practice today, and we saw a player down along the right field line. The other players were gathered around. He was down on his hands and knees for a while. He was hit by a line drive in the right wrist, but the report is it's a contusion, and x-rays were negative.
Somebody was using the force right there, and it wasn't you this time, Brownie.
No. Well, you'll try anything when you're trying to come from behind in a pennant race,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. All's fair.
It might work. If so, we need him there tomorrow. Exactly like that. You think you could wear that mask for about 8 days in a row?
Oh, I've tried.
No balls, 2 strikes.
You broke out. Well, which one was it? That mask a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
And you're popularity rating went way up too.
Well, anytime they can't see your face, it's probably a good thing, right?
You're talking to me now.
No, not your face. Not you. 1-2 the count. Well, Chacin, because the Angels had all the injuries to their rotation, went right into their starting five. And he came in the trade from Atlanta. And then he made 10 starts before he was sent to the bullpen. July 4th. Rolls back to the pitcher. He goes to Petit for one. Petit relaying on to Cron for a 1-4-3 double play. We go to the third inning with no score.
And tonight's pitching performance is powered by Kubota. We're talking about Brad Peacock and his numbers recently, 2.40 ERA in those last 3 starts. He's really helping out the ball club right now, keeping him in games. And he's looked really good. He's had a long season in AAA. Keeping healthy was the big key for him this year as far as what he's had to deal with in years past. But he's also feeling a lot better about that slider. It's something that we've talked about, guys. You guys have talked about it today. But the slider looks a lot different, actually, now than it did in years past. He's been working with AAA pitching coach Dyer Miller all year on it. And more of a sweeping motion, he said. He just wanted more movement on it. Something he was getting rocked earlier, he said, frankly, earlier in the year with the Fresno Grizzlies. So they had to change it up. He's throwing it a little bit with a little less velo now. And he likes what it's doing. So, Ash, I'm not sure what the difference is there. You'll have to explain it a little bit more to me on the difference in the slider there and what it can do to hitters.
Yeah, Julia, for me, I've seen ups and downs, and I think Jeff Blum and I were talking about that the other day. Some of the rotations are not ideal. Other times he'll get on top of it and create that nice action you'd like to see. I don't know about a desire to see a sweeping motion, but if it works, whatever. But what I have seen is a fastball that's gained some velocity, better locations, and a utilization of a changeup and curveball to go with the other two. And it's working right now for Brad.
And I wonder, too, Ash, about the differential in speed between the fastball and the slider.
Yeah, and that no doubt helps. We've seen some Astros hitters already lock up tonight. That curveball just missing. But he does use right now 4 pitches. And he's throwing strikes generally with those 4.
Oh, nice fastball.
Some very well spotted.
4 strikeouts.
And I like the changeup he's mixed in. He could probably use it a bit more. But this kind of an arm with the assortment he's bringing can be a real plus on a pitching staff.
Jet Bandy is next. He's trying to snap an 0 for 16. 238, 8 homers, 25 runs batted in, but only a 148 average this month. That's a tight slider, ball 1. I think the differential can be important. If the fastball's 92, what should the slider be ideally, do you think?
I don't know. I've seen some guys that had sliders that were pretty darn close to their fastball velocity, and they were enormously successful sliders. I've seen some guys that went the other direction and had success. For me, generally, if you're talking about slider, the harder and tighter, the better. I think of Ron Guidry back in the day, that over-the-top job that went straight down. Ken Giles when he's on with it.
Here comes the left fielder Marwin Gonzalez over near the line. 2 down.
Brad Lidge, a great name to bring up. Make memories at an Astros game every Sunday with family-friendly activities presented by Kroger. The next Family Sunday is tomorrow's game against these Angels. For more information, visit astros.com/Sundays or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Great to see the youngsters. Tomorrow, a 1:10 Sunday start for Joe Musgrove and Daniel Wright. Gregorio Petit, a former Astro, looks at a strike.
You know, your question's a really good one, though. I've never heard anybody say, hey, let's pull back velocity on your slider so we can create a difference from your fastball. All I've really heard is if you see a guy get a real flat slider, one that just kind of sails from side to side, generally hitters see that and hit them well. But the guys that get on top, a la Brad Lidge, very successful.
Oh, yeah.
And throw it as hard as you can.
Fouled away.
I mentioned Ron Guidry, and back in the day, and you see that sweeping downward action, Thurman Munson kind of flicking the glove to try to catch it, but boy, it was a devastating pitch. The little skinny guy from Louisiana could just make you look bad with that pitch.
Gator. That one bounces. It's 1-2. Peacock looks very aggressive, delivering the ball quickly.
Yeah, I like that aspect to his game as well.
And he said in the interview with Steve Sparks, he just trusted Jason Castro, and that allows the pitcher to work quickly. Doesn't have to shake off. He gets a strikeout. He has retired 9 in a row to begin this game. 5 on strikeouts, and it's scoreless.
Third inning. It's time now to play, or rather time to play, brought to you by Toyota. George Springer, Astros winner of the Heart and Hustle Award. That's really great stuff. And he plays the game with such reckless abandon, huge heart, and a fun guy. He just good to be around and great for his teammates, but he can flat play the game. You put that leather on his hand and he's going to make some gems for you. We could run highlights probably all game long.
Those awards are given by the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association, given to active players who demonstrate a passion for the game of baseball and best embody the values, traditions of the game and the spirit. Fouled away. There's strike 1 on Springer. He reached on a hit up the middle in the first inning. Well, he does have heart and he does hustle.
Passion is a great word you used right there.
Well, doesn't he have that? Chacin gets a swing and falls to an 0-2 count on Springer, with Gurriel and Altuve to follow in the Astros third. Baltimore leads 2-0 after 2 over Arizona in Baltimore. Off the plate, and it's 1-2. Chacin statistically has done really well when throwing his slider. Fastball has not been as effective. Springer fouls it back. Astros are 10-11 in the month of September. After the Joe Musgrove-Daniel Wright matchup at 1:10 tomorrow, they welcome the Seattle Mariners Monday, Tuesday nights, Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday will be the home finale, and they finish on the road against these Angels. Now 2-2 to Springer. Fastball at 94 is higher than the average for his fastball this season. He's now at 45 pitches. Angels got a shutout for 7 innings from Ricky Nolasco, and then he combined with 2 relievers on the 2-0 win. That was Thursday night. Alex Meyer went 5 1/3 last night as their starter. That's line to third. Good at bat, but Springer did not find a hole for that line drive. Escobar caught it.
The game's not fair. That's all there is to it. Of course, you could line up 1,000 pitchers right here and say he made that pitch to make that happen.
Okay, you're right. They'd be in line saying that. Yuli Gurriel struck out earlier. There's strike 1 to him. Jose Altuve's on deck. Hmm. 0-2. He's out in front. One and two. The Astros are hitting .235 as a team at home, .255 on the road. But Gurriel is one of those who has hit better at home.
I'd sure love to understand those numbers. This seems like a great place to swing the bat.
It does. Escobar in the dirt. Safe at first. It bounced, and C.J. Cron couldn't hold it. An error on Escobar is 19.
You know, that's one of those plays where I wonder if a first baseman stretches out as much as he can. Can't he pick this before it gets in the dirt? To me, possibly.
Maybe one that tall.
And maybe not that one.
No.
Yeah, that's on the look that our great guys in the truck provide for us.
Yeah.
That's a little further out there than I thought.
Well, it depends on the first baseman, right?
You get that 8-footer out there, and
yeah,
maybe he makes the play.
Yeah, Akeem might have been able to make that play. Jose Altuve doubled his first time up on a line drive to left field that Nick Buss seemed to lose in the lighting. Altuve is one of those players with a big differential, home versus road, this season, as ball 1 to him.
Time slipped on me. How was Akeem with the leather? I can't remember.
He was good to the backhand side, but not as strong to the forehand side.
That's what I kind of was thinking I remembered.
So Altuve at .339, and when the night began, Boston, which is now trailing at Tampa Bay 3-2, had a couple of hitters in that as well. We'll get back to that in a moment after our Ford spray chart showing you Altuve road and home hits. At home, he's pulled the ball for 49 hits, and on the road 61 hits to the pull side. He's used right field a little bit more on the road for his hits. In for a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, I would think in center field in this ballpark, hits would come by the bunches.
Right.
Because it's a bit like a Coors Field where it's just an enormous area to cover for a center fielder.
It really is. Altuve swings at that one and no contact and a 1-2 count. That was the count when he hit his double. First time up. Altuve has just been ripping the ball on the road this season, but he's below 300 here in his home ballpark. That's been a little puzzling to us. Starts the night at 299 at home before that double earlier.
You actually have opportunity for more batting practice at home. And sometimes I really wonder, and it's not just a brand new development, but I wonder if players don't take too much batting practice.
Maybe. Altuve has hit 15 of his 24 homers at home. It bounces and it's a full count. Jose is looking very strong for his second career batting title with a 17-point lead when the day began. Mookie Betts was second. Altuve 338. Betts 321. David Ortiz third at 319.
Mookie Betts had 3 hits, by the way, last night, Browning.
Yeah, okay. He's a really strong season. Coming to a close here. Boston is trailing 3-2 after 5 at Tampa Bay tonight. And the throw goes over. But that Boston club has Betts, Ortiz, and Pedroia in the second, third, and fourth positions in the batting race right now.
Early on in the season, I thought Jackie Bradley Jr. was going to hit 400.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he was dealing.
3-2 pitch with 1 out. Gurriel takes off, and it's ball 4. Altuve takes his 57th walk of the year and the second walk of the game for Chacin. A reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. And here's a home run for Carlos Correa off Chacin, July 23rd, right here.
He can take him any part of the yard.
Now we'll see what this at bat brings. He did not get to swing the bat in the first inning. He came up with runners at second and third, 1 out, and drew an intentional walk. So 20 homers, 93 runs batted in for this 22-year-old from Puerto Rico. And it's ball 1. That left shoulder, as Julia pointed out earlier, has been troubling him for some time. She went back to the Cleveland series and detailed how he injured it there. So how will that affect him swinging the bat? Well, we're about to find out since he didn't get to swing it the first time. Pickoff at second. Gurriel went diving back in with Petit coming over to cover. Gurriel looks like a pretty savvy player to us, Ash.
Absolutely. And again, a guy that we knew he could swing the bat, or at least we felt that was the case. He's shown that he can play third base, and he's a good-looking base runner.
Correa swings at it, and it's 1-1. Correa leads American League shortstops in walks, doubles, runs batted in, and on-base percentage. And he has a new Astros club record, as you know, for runs batted in by a shortstop in a season. Wonder how many times he'll break that.
Well, if he does it year by year, you're getting what you're hoping for.
Yeah. Do you think that one of the most difficult aspects of being a major league player is just duplicating big numbers from the year before?
Absolutely. There's this expectation you're going to repeat, and expectations may be a little high.
2-1. Johnny Bench used to say that one thing that was a particular challenge for him was that come opening day, the numbers roll back to 0. You know?
Yeah.
What you've done the previous season is not there, except if in your head you're trying to match it. That can be a problem. Another pickoff at second.
You know, I think it becomes a little bit different for a Johnny Bench or what I perceive Carlos Correa to be, a guy that's abundantly loaded with talent. I think that at times they feel like they're better than everybody else on the field.
There's our Root Sports helicopter shot.
Traffic flowing nicely.
You can hear the blade turning. That's actually a sound effect. That's upstairs. 3-1. Jason Martin has all kinds of sound effects that he can drop on us from the production truck.
I imagine he does.
Three-one count for Chacin, and the pitch count is running high for him, already at 60 through 2 1/3. In tight. And now the bases are loaded again. That's his third walk.
Well, you can almost hear the words in the clubhouse meetings for the Angels. We're not going to let this guy beat us. And one of those this guys is Carlos Correa.
Yeah. Did they ever say, we're going to let Evan Gattis beat us?
You know, it never comes up quite that way, Brownie. It's usually the flip side.
Charles Nagy out for a chat. Well, Nagy talking as Gattis gets ready to bat. Gattis took a third strike in the first inning with the bases loaded and 1 out. So I have to think he's not going to allow himself to do that again.
I felt like he was just mesmerized by that slider in the first at bat.
Yeah. And that speaks to the challenge for the pitcher. All right, you fooled him a couple of times with that slider in the first inning. Is that going to work again on Evan Gattis?
It's that cat and mouse game that goes on.
In the dirt. And he's able to come up with it, and it's ball 1.
It's not your classic blocking style right there, but he got it done.
Gurriel, Altuve, Correa, the base runners. The Astros left the bases loaded in the first inning. Gattis rolls over on it and fouls it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gattis has hit 8 homers in the month of September. The way Peacock is throwing the ball, the Astros would love to have any kind of a scoring inning here in the third. Sac fly would work with 1 out. That might be it. Over toward the line. Here's Calhoun with the grab. Calhoun with a strong arm fires toward the plate. Here's Gurriel scoring to make it 1-0 on a sac fly. 68th run batted in for Evan Gattis. Altuve went to third.
That generally was deep enough to score a run. With Calhoun, it was borderline, and Calhoun brought a perfect throw to the plate. But again, Gurriel, a little better base runner than you might just guess about a guy that's 32 years of age, coming onto the big leagues for a first year. Very athletic.
Direct head first slide got him there right ahead of the Bandy tag.
Yeah, don't ever undersell that arm of Calhoun in right field.
Pretty quick head first slide, Ash.
I think back a number of years ago, catcher blocking the plate, that might have been a pretty good tangle job.
Yeah. It's an unearned run. Marwin Gonzalez is the batter. He grounded out. And Petit made a good play to get him to end that bases loaded threat in the first inning. That's ball 1. So the run being unearned because Gurriel reached on an error by Escobar. And had that play been made on Gurriel, the inning would now be over. So any more runs that might score will also be unearned. The Angels now have allowed 49 unearned runs this year. Grounded foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chacin has won 45. He's lost 57 in his career with an ERA of 4.00. The Angels are 3-2 on their current road trip. They lost 2 of 3 in Texas before winning the first 2 here. They're 9-12 in September. The Astros are 10-11 this month. Angels are 14th in the American League in fielding percentage out of a 15-team league. Tyler White's on deck. This one gets away, and Altuve's coming home. 2-0.
I was puzzled by the fact that we hadn't seen Jet Bandy behind the plate in the first 2 games of the series, but I've seen a couple of examples here defensively where it might be spelling out why he hasn't been back there.
Yeah.
Now this is a fastball. It's very tough to try to block on a fastball. We saw a slider earlier that all we got was a backhanded effort and success, but yeah, that's not ideal.
Ruled a wild pitch for Chacin, his 8th of the year. Looked like a play that could have been made, though.
Absolutely.
2-1. Now 2-2. Well, the Astros are really cashing in on some Angel mistakes. An error, 2 walks, a wild pitch. The Angels survived some mistakes last night, too. They walked a couple in that big 5-run 6th inning. They made an error, and yet they rallied to win it. In for a strikeout, and that ends the 3rd with the Astros coming up with 2 runs on no hits with 1 error and 1 left. Strikeout number 3 for Chacin ends it. It's 2-0 Houston. The 2 PA announcers, Bob Ford, of course, a longtime staple of Astros PA, and Cheo Cruz handling the Spanish language PA duties tonight.
I hope Bob's not feeling too much pressure.
Well, you could be intimidated by being up there with Cheo.
Absolutely.
He's full of energy tonight, as always. 2-0 Astros. There's ball 1 from Brad Peacock. Escobar struck out his first time up tonight. stays up, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. Texas Rangers won today 5-0 at Oakland. They now have 92 wins. It's 3-0 for Peacock. And the Rangers got win number 6 of the year for Yu Darvish. Texas leads in wins currently in the American League. That's a 4-pitch walk. Escobar's on, first base runner for the Angels.
What do you think of that, Brownie?
Oh my goodness.
That was many push-ups ago, right?
Oh, Bruce Gietzen on the left. Milo Hamilton, Larry Durker. That's spring training. Whoa.
That looks like the early days in Kissimmee. Is that what that is?
Yeah, it looks like Kissimmee. Yeah, it's still the same booth, right?
Yes, it is. I think I was using that folding chair this spring.
Oh. Cole Calhoun with a bouncer. Backhanded Altuve, shovels. Here's Correa firing, and it's a double play.
Well, if you're going to go ahead and walk the first hitter after you get a couple of runs on your side of things, I suggest you get a double play ground ball.
Suggestion granted, sir.
Nicely started by Jose, and then you've got the arm.
Oh, yes. Nice to have the double play before facing Mike Trout.
By the way, I was laughing about somebody commenting on my statement about Mike Trout. When you get that reputation of drawing a lot of walks, when you're the leader in the league, you get a lot of walks. I was really trying to play on it the way Ted Williams and Joe Morgan did. You get that reputation, and umpires will not call a strike on you.
It's 1-1.
So I wasn't attempting to go all Yogi, but it wasn't a bad imitation.
Well, Yogi had a lot of great sayings.
Well, he knew what he was talking about, too.
I love the one about the restaurant, though.
Nobody ever goes there anymore, right?
Yeah, it's too crowded. 2 balls and a strike. I get 1 and 2. Albert Pujols on deck. 2-2 now to Trout. Cardinals beat the Cubs in Chicago 10-4. Reyes the winner, and Hamill lost it. So St. Louis stays in the mix for a wild card spot at 81-73. Foul ball out of play for George Springer. Still 2-2 on Trout. This is Trout's 5th consecutive year with at least 25 homers. Only the 3rd player all time with 5 25 homer campaigns prior to age 25.
Yeah, that's part of the story I'm talking about. You deliver a close pitch on Mike Trout with that reputation of drawing walks, and it's hard to get that call.
Now the big 3-2. And it's ball 4.
And therefore he draws a walk. And it just perpetuates the whole thing.
Boy, Trout has been amazing with the walks this year. That's 109.
Brownie, I love the photo of you.
Oh, that was back in the days of the old film cameras.
You were playing a lot of tennis in those days.
I think so. Are you saying something about the waistline here, or what?
Man, looking pretty good.
Yeah, there has been a change, but over the course of a few years, yeah, you know, it's pretty common these days, right? How about Dirk? Dirk just turned 70. How youthful does he look in that photo?
You guys all look a little bit younger than the last times I've seen you.
And Bruce Gietzen, who was doing radio with Milo at the time, is in Waco now. He's been a news anchorman for many years in Waco, and he worked for Channel 13 in this market for a long, long time. Now Albert Pujols, who hit the warning track fly ball to right field in the 2nd inning, comes around for the 2nd time. By the way, we'd like to pass along our best to Bob Allen. Speaking of long-time sports personalities in this market, There is a ball. 1-0 to Pujols. And also Tim Melton. Career hits against the Astros. Pete Rose 451. Nobody's close to that. Pujols is at 264 now. Well, those are some of the all-time great names. Peacock throws to first. And Bill Worrell. Bill did Astros baseball for many years. Saw a story on him the other day. He's cutting back his schedule on Rockets telecasts on Root Sports, but he'll still do the home games. In for a strike. 1-1. You know, Mark Berman's going to be honored with the Media Wall of Honor, and that's coming up Monday, I believe.
Mark's the man this year, huh?
Yes, he's the man. Congratulations to Mark. We'll see him out here Monday. His family's going to be here.
He's a grinder.
Oh, yes. He always knows who's coming into town to interview for sports coaching jobs.
Finds them before anybody else in town knows they're coming.
Yes. I think he has paid staff with all the airlines. There's a line shot. Marisnik laying out for it. It gets by him, goes to the wall. That'll score Trout easily. And Pujols gets into second with an RBI double. 2-1 ball game. A well hit ball by Pujols, and he is really ripping the Astros in this series. Had 3 hits last night and a walk. And he had 2 hits, including a 2-run homer Thursday night.
Albert was getting that baseball. In fact, he got it himself and tossed it in toward the dugout. I'm not certain of the significance, but oh so close from Jake.
He's been on the RBI chase this past Frank Robinson, and also in doubles. That could be a milestone double for him. Yeah, he just broke a tie with Barry Bonds. This is his 602nd career double. Now there's ball 1 to C.J. Cron, but Albert, of course, did not know where he was on that doubles list and immediately called them. Okay, 602 now. So he's 1 away from Cal Ripken. He's 15th on the all-time doubles list. In for a strike to Cron. Pujols, also in extra base hits, is only the 3rd player ever with 575 homers and 600 doubles. Barry Bonds and Hank Aaron, the other 2. Changeup makes it 2-1. So the milestones continue to fall for Pujols. And the Houston Astros are usually around when he is doing a lot of big things. He's hit more homers than anybody against the Astros in their history. 2-2 to Cron.
Well, he's nearing that 60 homer. Great Babe Ruth type season in his career against the Astros.
Yes, he is. Pujols is 9th on the all-time home run list with 591. Sammy Sosa is ahead of him in 8th place at 609. Cron takes, and it's 3-2, and that's the issue with walking Trout. Then it means that Pujols has to be dealt with next. Pujols has hit 53 career homers against the Astros.
That's just amazing. You look at that set of numbers.
Got him on strikes, and it's 1 run on 1 hit with 1 man left. 6 strikeouts for Peacock. A 2-1 lead for Houston, and Jose Cruz at the mic.
Batting 7th at first base, number 13.
3-1 Astros leading the Angels. Celebrate Fan Appreciation Day with the Astros on Wednesday, September 28th when they take on the Mariners. 10,000 fans will receive both a 2016 team poster presented by Baytown GMC and a 2017 pin presented by Waste Management. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Brownie.
Thank you, Julia. That's a big day, Wednesday. Remember, that's an afternoon game at 1:10, as you said. Tyler White's the batter, 2-1 Houston. He ripped a single up the middle earlier. There's ball one. Julia's going to be coming back with something special for us. In for a strike, and it's 1-1. The Orioles are up 5-0 in their game over Arizona. They're in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Great Whites are back. Haven't seen them in a while.
That's what's going on.
Here's Escobar throwing out Tyler White. 1 out. These are very fashionable Great White hats, by the way.
Not to be worn after Labor Day generally, though.
Jason Castro bats. He hit a fly ball to center in the 2nd inning. The Rays lead the Red Sox 3-2. They're in the top of the 7th inning. The Red Sox are going for their 91st win. The Rangers with 92 are now out in front in that race for home field advantage in the American League playoffs. And in fact, in the World Series as well, the AL will have that home field advantage, having won the All-Star game. Strike to Castro. We were asked by Don Sanders who our World Series teams would be. Don has the tough questions, doesn't he?
Well, he was thinking pretty hard on some of those today. I know that.
What was your answer? Who's going to be in the World Series this year?
Well, boy, I hate to spew out there, but the Cubs. My comment was based on the season had. The Cubs would be the team that seems to deserve to be there, right?
Yes.
And then I had kind of a question as to which club comes out of the American League.
What was your answer to that question?
I said there are a couple of teams that, based on their season, probably most deserve to be there. At this point, there are still 8 games to be played. And maybe it was Boston and Texas.
Yeah.
But then I said Cleveland, but they're down a couple of starters right now.
True. 3-1 now to Castro.
And your response was?
I decided to go with Boston.
Let's keep in mind as we give those answers, there are still 8 games yet to be determined.
Yeah. Bouncer to Escobar. Ooh, that was, he's safe at first. Escobar wants that to be challenged. Chad Fairchild with a safe call. Escobar took his sweet time.
I was going to say Escobar's skipper Mike Scioscia might want to hold his hands in the air the same way about how long you're going to wait to throw this ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to work out well for the Astros.
No, but message should be received by Escobar.
No, that was pretty close to Crone getting stepped on the heel by Castro.
It was.
Don't want to leave that heel over the bag too much, but at the same time, if you're Jason Castro, you don't want to roll an ankle on that play.
Ideally, should the first baseman have his foot on the inside of the base towards second base, his entire foot, and kind of rolled over on the inside of it?
That's a good question. Having not been a first baseman, I imagine first basemen like to be able to adjust depending on where the ball is coming from. On that particular play, if I were in Escobar's shoes, I would hope for a little larger stretch.
True. He's out. The call's overturned.
I'll hand it to Jason Castro. He really made that a bang-bang play at first base by hustling.
Yeah. We're going to go to Julia Morales right now.
Cloudy day, the skies. Center fielder, number 6, Jake Marisner.
Well, we were hoping that you could hear some of Jake Marisnick's walk-up music. That was the dramatic pause I just gave everyone. But Jake Marisnick is now using the theme song music from the 1993 film Jurassic Park. He started this a couple of days ago. George Springer had something to do with it, I can tell you that much. But when he changed his music, he got a base hit, got another one yesterday. Springer screaming from the dugout at him at first base, saying, Jurassic Park is 2 for 2. So now Jake Marisnick is stuck with the theme song of Jurassic Park for his walk-up music.
We didn't hear it, though.
I think the review messed this whole thing up.
Okay.
We blame Socha on this one.
Well, shall we try next time?
Please listen in the next time Jake Marisnick comes up to the plate.
Shall we try next time?
Yes.
Hey, good luck there. So are they saying that Jake is a dinosaur, or what's going on with
Well,
that?
Springer's the dinosaur. You've seen that.
Oh, yeah.
Springersaurus.
That's true. Yeah, we did see that last year.
I don't know. Was Jake dressed up as a dinosaur?
Not sure.
You never know what these two are up to. They're fun.
That's a strikeout, and it's number 4 for Chacin. Through 4 innings, it's 2-1 Astros.
Top of the 5th, and it is time to play Name That Astro. This is presented to you by your local Honda dealer. We give you clues, you tweet at us your best guess, and then we tell you later who it is. He was traded for Casey Candaele, played for the Astros and the Giants, and a career-high 10 homers and 45 ribby in 1985. Who is this Astro?
Ooh.
We also have another great tweet coming in as we look back on the brilliant career of Bill Brown.
Oh, Julia. Shucks. Don't do that.
That's a good one.
Andrelton Simmons, we strike one. Well, you have a fun career going, and you were very busy before the game tonight, hosting some young ladies, giving them a tour. So it's good to see you get back and focus again, because you like to stay focused before the game. A little tapper to Peacock. And that's out number 1 on Simmons.
Turn that into a nice, easy routine play by utilizing the glove and setting the feet.
Yeah. Ash, do you believe in Julia's career now? This is her 2nd year working with us. Is that right, Julia? Your 2nd year?
4th year. You guys are cheating me some seasons here.
Well, she's been in 2 pennant races in a row now.
She's got no trade rights already.
This is your 4th year, really?
Yes.
Oh, it's going so fast.
Do you remember 13 and 14?
No, not at all.
Those were good times.
No, we wiped those away. Strike 1 to Bus. We've known each other 4 years.
Yes.
Okay.
What is a young pup coming in?
You were really, really young.
You guys broke me into this whole game and how this.
We thought she had no idea how to win, Brownie.
You know, you talk about Ash, she probably felt like she was in Jurassic Park with us. Yeah. That's a strikeout for out number 2. And that's 7 strikeouts for Brad Peacock. 4th year. Boy, they do move quickly, don't they?
They certainly do. Unless you're looking back to opening day of this year. And then you say, what?
Jed Bandy hit a fly ball to left in the 3rd inning. Julia's going to have about a 30-year career.
You'll call it an 8-year career, but
that's true. There's strike 1. Peacock here in the limelight, leading 2-1, throwing the ball very well tonight. And the Astros need this game. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Orioles are leading 5-0 over the D-backs. They're in the middle of the 5th inning with Wade Miley pitching a 4-hit shutout through 5 for him. 2 balls and a strike. Toronto has won 3-0 this afternoon. Joey Bats hit a home run for the Blue Jays. And Bandy was able to check that swing. The count going to 3-1. The Blue Jays now 85-69. And with Detroit losing, the Tigers are 83-71. Ooh, fastball. 3-2. Peacock looks aggressive tonight.
Certainly does. That fastball on a 3-1. Hitters are looking for it and still slips it by.
And he fouls it back. Petit is on deck. In the Toronto 3-0 win over the Yankees, the Blue Jays got all 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bautista providing all of them on his 20th home run of the year. Came off Tyler Clippard. Marcus Stroman really had a good game. 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs for Toronto, but Jason Grilli got the win, and Roberto Osuna his 35th save. George Springer comes in right field. And it's 3 up, 3 down in the 5th for Brad Peacock, and a 2-1 lead.
Fifth. And it's time to take a look at our Chevy Stroh poll. Make sure to jump on Twitter, follow us at Root Sports SW, and vote in our poll. And today, with George Springer being the club recipient of the Heart and Hustle Award, here's our question for you. What part of Springer's game do you appreciate the most? His power, speed, athleticism, his hustle, aggression, passion, joy for the game, or maybe it's his walk-up music. I don't know. Please vote. We'll tell you which one wins later. Guys.
All right, thank you. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Julia, good Saturday night crowd watching. Cute little baby there, twisting and turning and hoping for some Astros runs here in the home 5th. The George supporters hoping that Springer can build on what he's done. He reached on a hit up the middle in the first. He lined out to third in the third. And he takes that one, ball one. 3 hits for the Astros, 1 hit for the Angels. That's a strike. Chris Davinsky is warming up for Houston. A.J. Hinch was talking before the game about his bullpen situation. Mentioned Davinsky as a key part of the situation here. 2-1. And he posed the question to us, Ash, well, if we lead after 5, do we keep the starter in, or do we wait for a couple of base runners to bring in somebody like Davinsky? That's a critical question.
I think it depends on how that starter's thrown. Brad Peacock tonight, I'd keep him out there. The stuff looks good.
Yes.
That's that standard answer that comes along. It depends.
Well, one thing the manager certainly looks at as they talk to Peacock now, there's Brent Strom, is who's coming up next and what have they done against him. Petit has struck out in his only at bat. He'll lead off. Then Escobar, he has a strikeout and a walk. Then Calhoun, he's 0 for 2.
It seems that Peacock may have been informed that he's done with his night, but we'll see.
There's a shot off the glove of Simmons, and he doesn't have a play. A hard hit ball by Springer. He's 2 for 3. Mr. Harton Hustle making it happen with a bat tonight.
He's going to try to get 5 hits tonight with 1 hoppers off the gloves of infielders.
There's a couple.
Wow. It's really swinging it well. If he can't catch it, I don't know if there's anybody out there that can.
No. Superb glove man. Really sure-handed. He's not happy. Yuli Gurriel has struck out. He's reached on an error and scored an important run that made it 1-0 on a sac fly by Evan Gattis. Jose Altuve's on deck. Right side of the infield is open for Gurriel. And he can take it there sometimes. Bounces this one back to the mound. Here's Chacin going to Petit. 1-hop throws. Oh, they got an out call. Is that really going to stand? This one may require a second look. A.J. Hinch is coming out.
Yeah, I think A.J. feels like a lot of us. That call went the wrong way again. That coin's flipping poorly down at first base.
Yeah, he beat that throw.
Yep.
They'll take a look. That's the crew chief and home plate umpire Jim Joyce.
Chad Fairchild needs to get a new coin down there.
Jim, as you know, was involved in that controversial call that went against the Astros in Cleveland, but it was not a reviewable play. And that pitch that bounced off the bat of an Indian and got by the catcher, and the runners were whirling around the bases. 2 runs scored on that one. Then he called timeout, and here's a look back at that play.
Oh, that pains me to watch this again. Now, right there, you grant that that's a tough one to see, and that's a little bit what the base umpires were looking at. But the reaction of the hitter should have told a volume right there. Now you slow it down, and you clearly see what happened. And the umpires did not have the wherewithal, by the rules, to take a look at that one. Have the folks in New York review it. And that's where the problem was for me.
A.J. Hinch got thrown out of that game by Jim Joyce. But now, after this replay review, A.J. Hinch has won the battle. After 58 seconds, the call has been overturned, and Gurriel is ruled safe at first base. There was not a replay review available. That was not one of those reviewable calls on the one in Cleveland.
Yeah. Those rules need to be changed. An adjustment is much needed.
Jose Altuve has lined a double to left, and he's walked and scored. He dribbles that one foul. There is strike 1. The Angels have had a hard time getting him out this season.
Stand in line.
He now has 28 hits in 58 at bats against them, with 4 homers, 12 runs batted in. Great seasonal numbers for Jose Altuve. In for a strike, and he's behind 0-2. 89 pitches for Chacin. Don't see anybody currently warming up, though, for the Angels. There is some stirring out in the bullpen. Fly ball goes to right. Calhoun. 2 outs. Whoa, throw back to first, and Gurriel beat it.
Houston Methodist brings us our league leaders. Most RBIs against any team this season, one player versus another club. Chris Bryant of the Cubs has the biggest year. Chris Davis, little known of the A's against the Rangers. Got some likely names on there. Carlos Correa against the Angels, 20. So yeah, that's what Brownie's talking about. He has been very dangerous against them. Mookie Betts, that guy's on that list.
Correa has walked twice in this game. 75 walks this year for Carlos. He has a .361 on base average. Evan Gattis is on deck. Bangs that one off his leg. There's strike 1. The Astros as a team have hit .299 against the Angels.
Well, that would be a big part of why the Astros were 11-1 coming into this series against the Angels.
Dustin Pedroia has just ripped a grand slam for Boston.
If one guy doesn't get you there, another does.
All the way 0-2. The Red Sox were down by 1. Now they lead by 3 in the 7th inning against the Rays. 4th slam of Pedroia's career, his 2nd this year. Been a powerful year for second baseman. Correa strikes out. To end the 5th inning, no runs a hit. 1 man left. 5 strikeouts for Chacin. 2-1 Houston. Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. Beautiful downtown Houston, Texas. 3rd largest city in the country now. And the Astros lead it 2-1 over the Yankees. Meanwhile, there's a pitching change. Chris Davinsky has come in to pitch the 6th inning after an excellent 5 from Brad Peacock. Ash.
One of the true MVPs on this ball club this year, Chris Davinsky, unsung at the start of the year, a true rookie. And he just keeps pitching great baseball, as evidenced by the numbers here in September. 2-0, has not allowed an earned run, and 5 1/3 shutout innings against the Angels on the year.
Petit leads it off. Gregorio struck out and fouls this one away. Strike 1. A preemptive kind of a pitching change. Peacock threw 69 pitches, 42 for strikes. An excellent 5 innings, allowing 1 hit, 1 run, walking 2, fanning 7. He had retired 4 in a row. And yet it's Davinsky and not Peacock on the mound in the 6th. He gets a strike and it's 0-2. And Davinsky now has gone to the slider, which you just saw, more often lately because he's been around the league now enough that the hitters know about the fastball changeup combination. Fouled away. It's not as if he is struggling in any fashion, as you pointed out, but still that different wrinkle has helped Chris Davinsky last few times out.
Well, everybody knows he's got a killer changeup, but what you tend to forget is that he can go mid-90s with the heater.
Off the plate. Oh, it came back on the plate for a strikeout. Looking at Petit. He is out. Here's what this man has done in his rookie season. The lowest ERA in the majors since May 22nd, with at least 70 innings. That's Chris Davinsky's 1.39, Ash.
You're looking at Kyle Hendricks on the list there, a likely, I guess, Cy Young Award winner from the National League, and others. Michael Fulmer, likely Rookie of the Year winner. Is he more deserving than Chris Davinsky?
Escobar takes ball 1. Escobar, who hit the big home run in the 9th inning last night, has struck out and walked tonight. Fouls that back, and it's 1-1 to Unell.
I just hope that the voters for the Rookie of the Year award this year realize what Davinsky's done. I'm not saying that he's going to or should win the award. He deserves strong recognition.
Yeah. In for a strike to Escobar, 1-2. His most recent outing was 3 2/3 perfect innings Tuesday. He got his 4th win.
Here's your changeup that we talk about, and delivered on the very end of the bristles on that brush.
Struck him out looking. Number 2.
Come bid a final farewell to Tal's Hill and be a part of Astros history. After the games tomorrow and on Wednesday, the 28th, fans will have a final opportunity to take a commemorative photo in front of Tal's Hill for only $30. All proceeds benefit the Astros Foundation. For more information, visit astros.com/Tal's Hill. Maybe Jake Marisnick will be out there to take that photo with you.
He could do it while making a great catch. He could multitask.
I love that smile from Lance.
Strike to Cole Calhoun. He's 0 for 2. Davinsky has the lowest ERA by a reliever in club history, 1.35 in relief. Lower than Don McMahon's 1.53 in 1962, first year of the Colt 45s. Line drive right field. Springer over. Calhoun takes the turn and will hold. And Springer throw into second base on a 2-out single for Calhoun, getting Trout to the plate. Good play by George.
Yeah, George doing what he does so well. Gets to it and immediately spins to deliver the throw in. That's not even his big time throw.
Nope. That's hit number 2 for the Angels. Mike Trout grounded out and he walked. Trout looks at ball 1. A big factor for any manager at this point of the season is watching that he doesn't overuse his relievers. 2-0.
You know what? You'd like this arm to be ready tomorrow, and the remaining 7 games after tonight. You'd also like it to be available come next year and years to come.
In for a strike, and it's 2-1. Tiger Kaufman sent us a tweet about that call in Cleveland by Jim Joyce. Why was it not reviewable? That's not in the rules of replay. Among those plays that can be reviewed, it's a foul ball call, and that is one of those calls that they have not agreed to review by the rules. I guess because there would be so many of them, it would slow down the game more.
But here's the deal. You can review whether a ball hit the hand or the knob of the bat. So, you know, to me, it should fall more in that category. But the way I posed it at the time was just a common sense ruling.
Yeah.
Umpires say, hey, wait a minute. We really didn't see it. Let's use some common sense here.
Big 3-2 coming to Trout. Trout fights it off. Calhoun back to first base. Trout has the 3rd best RBI season he has had as a major leaguer with 95. His career high 111 in 2014. Runner going, and it's ball 4. And now Pujols bats with 2 on and 2 out. Second walk for Trout tonight. Pujols double to right center as the Angels got a run home. Trout scoring it from first in the 4th inning. He hit a warning track fly ball in the 2nd inning, caught by Marisnik in right center field. There's no doubt he will be a Hall of Famer.
They may bypass the 5-year rule on that one.
He's had 898 career at bats against Houston, 295 average, 53 homers, 143 runs batted in. Slider, ball 1. And you know the old saying in baseball, in this situation, runners at first and second, 2 outs, there's no place to put him. Well, yeah, there is.
That's right.
You can put him at first. It will load the bases, but no runs will score on that.
That's exactly right. And I'd rather do that than cough up the pitch down the middle that gets drilled. 3-run home runs are hard to beat.
You have a choice of pitching to C.J. Cron, who's on deck.
Guy who has not punched his ticket yet for the Hall of Fame, but this one is already thoroughly punched.
Well, now at 2-0, it becomes more and more likely that the approach will be do not throw him a pitch in the strike zone.
I wonder if that was some of the commentary from Jason Castro when he just went out to the mound.
Yeah. That comes back in for a strike.
At 95, but that found a good chunk of plate, didn't it?
Yes, it did. I still don't think this will be in the strike zone, Ash.
I'll be surprised if it's another fastball. I was surprised at the previous.
He swung. It wasn't in the zone, but the Astros get a strike, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, that changeup induces the bat to start. And even as strong as Albert Pujols is, that bat gets out there.
Now, with 2 strikes, if Davinsky can throw another one off the plate, he can get Pujols. And it's a ground ball in the hole. Tough play here. Correa to third, and they get the force play. Well, Carlos Correa, who amazed some people by being in the lineup tonight, makes a big play. And Gurriel is right home at third to receive this throw and maintain the Astros 2-1 lead.
Astros in front. Tonight's winning word in our Wanna Get Away sweepstakes is BASE. That's B-A-S-E. Visit rootsports.com/wannagetaway, fill out the form, and use the winning word for a chance to win 2 round-trip tickets with Southwest Airlines. A new winning word every game this week, so make sure to watch and win. Ronnie?
Thanks, Julia. An interesting 2-1 game goes to the bottom of the 6th inning here with Evan Gattis leading it off. He's 0 for 1 with a sac fly. Slider good for strike 1. Lefty Jose Alvarez is warming up in the bullpen for the Angels. Chacin is running a high pitch count of 94 so far. Gattis out to right field. Cole Calhoun. 1 out.
Watch Carlos Correa on this play. Fast thinking. And also by Gurriel, who moves in the right direction. That's a great combination of instincts between the two guys. With Pujols going down the line, there still may have been a play at first, but this one was presented right in front. And again, the reaction by Gurriel made it available.
They got the force on Calhoun and a big out in this game. Marwin Gonzalez is 0 for 2. Grounded out and he struck out looking. Escobar's in tied at third. In for strike 1.
I don't know, but I've been watching a guy at shortstop that is showing a lot of range and ability to make all the plays. I don't see anything on the negative side.
That one goes foul. You mean you don't see a D WAR of 0.6?
Doesn't work for me, Brownie.
Okay.
But then I have the same story on Altuve, who plays a great second base.
Well, the important decision that Carlos made to play this game surprised some in the media after his injury last night to the left shoulder, which had been injured earlier this season. But even if he doesn't swing the bat, he can impact the game with a play like the one he just made.
Well, even if he's not swinging it well, he impacts the game also on the offensive side. If you're the opposing manager, you're always aware of Correa and what you have to do with him.
Excellent point. Chacin with a little toss to first to Cron gets Gonzalez. 2 outs.
Join the Astros at Minute Maid Park tomorrow as they take on these Angels. 20,000 fans will receive a limited edition Carlos Correa Topps baseball card that's presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
watching Tyler White come to the plate. White is 1 for 2. He's singled in the second inning, grounded out in the fourth. He rocks one to right field. Cole Calhoun, warning track with the catch. Well hit ball. 1-2-3, sixth inning for Chacin, needing 6 pitches. 2-1 Astros after 6.
Minute Maid Park where the Astros leading, and it's the top of the 7th. It is time to name that Astro, presented by Hondo. We gave you a few clues. I didn't really get a ton of correct answers on Twitter, but I guess I got a few. Tonight's Astros, Mark Bailey.
Beetle.
That's Beats right there. Scott Service, he looks like a catcher, doesn't he?
You bet. He'll be in town with the Mariners Monday through Wednesday. Rookie card, 1992. Good defensive player, and he caught the Darryl Kyle no-hitter. We have changes for the Astros. Teoscar Hernandez has come in to play left field. Marwin Gonzalez has moved to first base. And Tyler White out of the game. There's strike one to C.J. Cron. Leading off the 7th inning. He has struck out both times tonight. Chris Davinsky survived a 2-out single and a walk, getting Albert Pujols on the force play in the 6th inning. Jose Valdez now warming up for the Angels, the count running to 0-2. Chacin gave Mike Scioscia a bonus inning, so to speak, the 6th inning in 1-2-3 fashion, after he had run a high pitch count through 5. That one bounces, and it's 1-2 for Chris Davinsky. Devo has not given up a run in his last 11 outings. He gets a jam shot there. It's still 1-2. Last time a major league rookie reliever had an ERA as low as Chris Davinsky, it was Brad Ziegler in 08, 1.06. Off the plate, it's 2-2. Davinsky's pitched twice against the Angels, and in 5 1/3 innings. Now 6 1/3, including this one. No earned runs. He gets a strikeout on Cron. 3rd strikeout for Davinsky, 10th for the Astros.
Looks like that slider right there. Nice downward break.
Yeah.
That's the angle that you'd like to see on a good slider.
Andrelton Simmons has grounded out both times tonight. Rusnick is shading him toward right center strongly. That's a big cut, and it's strike one.
Based on that swing, I would think Simmons is in the race for the home run title this year.
Well, it looked like he was taking aim on the Crawford boxes. You're right. In for a strike for Davinsky. He's in front 0-2.
I don't know if you can say an arm is tired when he's hitting 95.
Boy. His arm really has the amazing bounce back capability, doesn't it?
He just brings it time and time again.
Struck him out. That's number 4. Greater coverage of baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. We check scores. The Royals had a furious 5-run ninth to beat the Tigers 7-4. Red Sox lead it on a Pedroia grand slam 6-3 at the Rays. Rangers shut out the A's. The Blue Jays shut out the Yankees. Orioles are leading 6-0 over the Diamondbacks in the 7th, and the Twins lead the Mariners 3-2 in the 9th. Nick Buss, the batter.
Go Twins.
There's a strike. Well, you know, we were talking before the game, Ash, about the strength of schedule, which I think is a lot of bunk in baseball, especially when you get down to these final few days. And people said, what, the Astros had the weakest schedule as of a few days ago of all the remaining clubs. Anybody can win a game. And these teams that are out of the race take particular delight in knocking off a team that's in the race, one of those clubs.
Isn't that the truth?
No balls, 2 strikes.
One thing you always have to remember, even though it seems maybe to a fan like, oh, that's a really weak team, it's still major league talent and guys that are trying to earn jobs.
Sure.
Yeah, there are teams that are better than others, no question.
Well, I think the assumption people make is, well, this 4th place team or this 5th place team or whoever considered to be part of the weak schedule does not have motivation, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a bad assumption.
It is a bad assumption. Foul ball. Yeah, they might have a lousy record, but let's look at, first of all, who's pitching for them tonight. How capable is he of dealing a good game? And that's a major factor in any game.
A lot of times you're dealing with one of those clubs that hasn't had a good year. A lot of the tired older players are now gone. You've got some youngsters in there trying to show their worth, and they play well.
In for a strikeout. He strikes out the side. 5 strikeouts in 2 innings for Chris Davinsky, who protects the 2-1 lead in the 7th.
Seven 2-1 Astros in front, and it's time to announce the winner in our Chevy Stroh poll. Thank you all for voting in our poll and following us on Twitter at Root Sports SW. And we're talking about George Springer, who received the Heart and Hustle Award before today's game for the club. What do you like most about his game? 42% of you say his passion and joy for this game. He's a fun player to watch, guys.
Oh, he is a very, very entertaining player. Thank you, Julia. We have a pitching change now. Chacin out of the game. Jolie Chacin with a quality start tonight for the Angels, giving way to Jose Valdez. He's 1-3 with a 4.26 ERA.
Picked up from the Tigers middle part of the year, and a guy that's now in his second year in the major leagues. Previous with the Tigers, just 7 games last year with Detroit, 21 this year with the Angels. And he's been tough on hitters, 14 hits in 19 innings. But he's also walked 15. That would account for that whip that's up over the 1.5 runners per inning.
26 years old, from the Dominican Republic. And Jose will begin his night by facing Jason Castro, who's 0 for 2. Chacin in 6 innings allowed the Astros 4 hits, 2 runs. He walked 3, fanned 5. Through 99 pitches, 63 were strikes. Valdez came up from AAA Salt Lake August 6th, made his Angels debut that night at Seattle. Foul back by Castro. There's strike 1 to Jason. No earned runs for Chacin. The 2 runs that scored in the 3rd were both unearned, and that's the differential in this game. Valdez made his major league debut with the Tigers July 31st last year. It's 1-1. Jake Marisnick's on deck, and we're going to hear his walk-up music this time, we assure you, from Jurassic Park. It's 2-1.
Is he stealing from the T-Rex?
I think he might be. Has Springer worn that costume this year?
I haven't seen it.
That was last year.
George has been a little more suave this year.
Yeah, that was so last year. 2-2. The Astros have out hit the Halos 4-2. The Angels beat the Astros in the first game of the season series. Then Houston won 11 in a row. And now the Angels have taken the first 2 of this 4-game set. It's 3-2. Rays are batting in the bottom of the 9th inning, trailing the Red Sox 6-4. The Orioles 6-0 lead is intact going to the bottom of the 7th. Wade Miley struck out 10 for them. Castro foul tips it and strikes out. One out, and Valdez has started well. Here's the walk-up music.
Center fielder, number 6, Jake Marisnick.
That's not it, Julia.
No, that was not it.
What happened?
I don't know. I think it's because we talked about it.
Yeah.
Julia, you're pulling our chain, aren't you?
We messed this whole thing up.
We have totally fouled this up tonight. This never happens. They always play the walk-up music.
Fail.
Anything for a story for Julia.
Right. I did not talk to
Oh.
I did not talk to the right people before this game started.
What are you going to make up tomorrow night?
Seriously.
This is just crushing for us. 2 balls and no
I'm
strikes.
so sorry.
We have been body slammed on these walk-up music attempts for Jake Marisnick.
That's almost just priceless right there. TV, live TV at its best.
Yeah, you're right.
Listen close now.
Now it's 3-0. Marisnick bounced into a double play in the 2nd. He struck out looking in the 4th.
Sarah Rizzo says that Springer wore the T-Rex this year.
Okay.
So
Thanks, Sarah. I don't know when that was, but you're paying more attention. 3 balls and a strike. What are the Astros stats with him wearing the T-Rex suit? Do we know?
I don't know. What are the Astros? What are the stats when the walk-up music is appropriately played for Jake?
Well, we haven't heard it yet. That's ball 4, though. So he did well without it that time. And the Astros, who are trying to scrape together a few base runners, now have Mr. T-Rex coming to the plate. George Springer 2 for 3 in this game. He's hit the ball hard all 3 times. Nationals lead the Pirates 6-1. They're in the top of the 6th inning as they shoot for their 90th win. Jose Quintana and the White Sox lead at Cleveland 4-1 in the last of the 6th. The Indians go for their 91st win. Marisnick attracts the throw. Jake has 9 steals in 14 attempts. Phillies are popping the Mets 10-4 in the top of the 6th inning. We were talking about that NL wildcard race before the game today. Who wants it, or does anybody?
Oh, they all want it.
Liner to center field. Trout coming in. Trout does not make the catch. It gets behind him, and the race is on. Here's Marisnick legging it into third. He's going to come home. Springer heads for third. The throw to third base, and it's 3-1. A triple for George Springer, his 3rd hit of the night. That's his 79th run batted in.
And those 2 young men on the bases can fly. That was nice to watch. Of course, Jake had to freeze to make sure that this ball got down. George had the liberty to kind of take off. At that point, you're in your begging stage. Please get down. But now it's time to run. And Mike Trout, trying to be aggressive, may have made a mistake on this one.
Now the infield comes in. Yuli Gurriel batting with Springer at third. Gurriel's 0 for 3. He scored after reaching on an error. That's strike 1. Jose Altuve on deck. 5 hits for the Astros, 2 for extra bases.
Our Alexis defensive ratings. Look around that outfield for the Angels, and Mike Trout's the guy with the 9 ranking and the good throwing arm. Cole Calhoun really has the strongest arm in that outfield, very accurate. He's in right field. Nick Buss, don't know a lot about in left field, but I think you would choose to run on him.
1-2. Yandel Gustave is warming up for the Astros. Gurriel really striving to make contact here with a runner at third and 1 out and a 1-2 count. He does, and singles in a run. 4-1 Houston. Gurriel drives in his 15th by going up the ladder on that high pitch and sending it into center field.
Well, these are nice runs to pick up. You're right on up the ladder. I can handle that, so go ahead and do it. That to me is what an RBI guy is, a guy that produces runs. He believes that he can drive in the run and gets it done.
Well, you have to like his style of hitting, right, Ash? The ability to hit the ball up the middle and use right field sometimes and just keep everybody guessing as to where he's going to hit it.
He's good, and he's shown us power. I think he's going to prove to be a very wise investment.
Jose Altuve doubled. He walked, and he hit a fly ball to right. Strike to Jose. Carlos Correa's on deck. Big run created by those guys. Marisnick walked. Springer tripled him home. Then Springer scored. Whoa. 0-2 as he goes to a knee, and something may be wrong here. Dropped his bat, walked away.
I don't know if you took advantage of the track meet that was going on when Marisnick was on base for Springer's hit, but from our vantage point, it was really a nice spot to watch those guys go as you take a peek at Altuve in that swing. Now, those two guys can talk about great athletes.
Yeah, that looked like a 440 race.
And I tell you what, they are good buds, too.
Bats is short. Simmons coming after it. Quick throw on to second. Handcuffed Petit. 2 outs. We're going to get the walk-up music for Jake Marisnick from the first time up in the second inning when we were not waiting for it. Okay, well, that certainly tells us a lot.
Could you make anything out of that?
No,
well, I think Julia's telling another story with that one.
Julia, what are you saying on this anyway?
Oh, that was it.
Okay.
You know, I'm getting tweets about people who crowded around their television to listen to the music the second time. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, we dipped deep into the archives to find that.
Wow. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's Carlos Correa. Strike one to Carlos.
Warn us for your next falsehood, Julia.
Oh, I feel terrible.
That's beautiful. We love it when you do that.
Jake's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you see, most recent results have shown that he performs better when they don't play that music. No balls, 2 strikes. So maybe you've started a trend. Yeah. So Springer must have dared Marisnick, maybe.
You see, they said they were going to play that music.
Yeah.
But then.
Sorry, Brian. It was all a ratings ploy.
This is epic fail.
To keep you with us longer tonight.
What would my walk-up music be?
Yeah.
Ash, what would it be?
Yeah, I think he had something from The Sound of Music, Julia.
Okay.
The runner takes off, and that's a strikeout to end the 7th inning. 2-run scoring on 2 hits and a man left. Marisnick and Springer inseparable. 4-1.
Get a behind-the-scenes look at places like historic Union Station, luxury suites, the Diamond Club, and much more with a tour of Minute Maid Park. For more information, visit astros.com/tours or call 713-259-8996 to schedule your tour today. Chris Davinsky continues to pitch for the Astros, and one of the things A.J. Hinch will be dealing with today is not having a closer with Ken Giles unavailable after being struck by that line drive during BP. He did say if Devo is in the game, it's going to be hard to take him out, but he does have the other options right now to close. Luke Gregerson, of course. Will Harris can also close. He said even Yandel Gustave, who can throw 100, could be given that opportunity. But with Giles being day-to-day, we'll see how he handles it going forward, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Chet Bandy, the batter, against Davinsky, who falls behind him 2-0. Bandy is 0 for 2. He's hit the ball in the air both times. Looks like Petit's going to be leading for a pinch hitter next as this one goes out to left field. And that's caught by Teoscar Hernandez. That's what happens when you get the wrong walk-up music, Ash.
That guy can hit, though, I hear.
Yeah.
You're not going to get cheated. I know that.
We're just going to look at that for a while. Rafael Ortega's the batter. That's a thrilling sight.
He doesn't move fast, but he's a power hitter.
Ortega pinch hitting now for Petit. Delivered the big pinch hit last night. 215, 1 homer, 13 runs batted in, and 163 at bats. He is 4 for 7 pinch hitting for 4 runs batted in. That was what happened with the pinch hit 3-run double last night. And that really helped the Angels in their 6-run 9th inning as they sent 10 men to the plate. So Ortega, he got that hit because the ball was jarred out of Correa's glove as he attempted to make that diving catch in center field. 2 balls and a strike. It was a great effort by Correa. Mark Trumbo has hit his 45th home run tonight for Baltimore. Pop back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So.
You know, this is another thing that Chris Davinsky does. Not only are the numbers great, yeah, wow, what a season, but he eats up more innings than you anticipate, and the bullpen gets to take a little extra rest.
He's been one of the best I think we've seen in a long time at pitching multiple innings. Hit hard and off the glove of Altuve, or maybe it skipped over it, but that was a bullet. And Ortega delivers as a pinch hitter again. Second hit allowed by Davinsky. Ruled a single.
This is remembering that you have a life and maybe a family that needs you.
Yeah.
Get out of the way of that thing.
And you're about to become a father.
Yeah. No time to be a hero right there.
No. Now it's Escobar. Snap throw to first. Pretty close. Pitch was ball 1 to Escobar, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. Luke Gregerson's warming up for Houston. The Red Sox have clinched a postseason berth for the first time since 2013. They won their game at Tampa Bay 6-4, their 10th win in a row. In for a strike, 1-1. Boy, you win 10 in a row to take over the division this late. That's their 91st win. And they maintain a 5.5 game lead over Toronto, which beat the Yankees 3-0. That is a hot club here at the end of the season. That's going to be a club that people might assume is going to carry that over. Of course, it starts fresh with the postseason. We'll find out.
Big assumption, and one that's been wrong many times, but you never know.
Is that anything that has any credibility to you, because you've been on playoff clubs before, that if you're hot at the end of the season, that gives you that momentum going into postseason, or does it matter?
Well, I like the argument, and I would like to be on a team that has that argument on their side. It's just that sometimes you get totally surprised. I don't know what happened. We were feeling so good, and suddenly it went the other way.
Fouled, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, I think everybody would rather be there than elsewhere, but it doesn't always play out.
especially on a night like this, as Julia pointed out, Davinsky's ability to stay in this game, and so far he's worked 2 1/3, can really take the load off that bullpen, especially with the day game coming tomorrow and not knowing if Giles will be available for that. And we didn't really know if Giles would have been available for tonight's game without the injury to his wrist, because last night he threw 30 pitches. So before AJ could check on that, Giles was almost laying on the right field line. Runner goes. Ground ball in the hole here. Correa backhanding, throwing across, and there's the stretch, safe at first. Marlin thinks they got him. He wants a review of this. And the call was made by Chad Fairchild.
I don't know, is Carlos Correa getting any routine plays to deal with anymore?
No.
It's just one tough one after another, and he's coming up brilliantly. Ooh, man, that's close.
Really close.
I'm not sure that's one that would get turned over either direction the call was made. Man, that's a fantastic effort.
AJ Hinch is going to ask for a review of that on a manager's challenge. And they will go to the headsets. Is the ball in the back of his glove before the runner touches first?
That's one that I think, regardless of what the call was, either way, I don't think it would get overturned. What about you?
Yeah, I don't see evidence that's clear cut. But, you know, there are different techniques available in the big replay room in New York.
I'm wide open to being wrong on that one, by the way.
Okay. You don't mind?
Not a bit.
Well, if you don't mind, then okay. We'll look at it again. So close.
Yeah, I just think the guys in New York are going to shrug their shoulders and say, nothing I can do about that.
And that's it. If it's so close like that and it's not really clear-cut evidence, then they will not overturn it. Okay, they're going with a safe call. They're not overturning, and that's a hit for Escobar. Escobar has won a couple of reviews. And now 2 men on and 1 out, and Brent Strom is coming out. Cole Calhoun will be the batter. He's 1 for 3. It was a 1-minute 4-second review. Gregerson continues to throw in the pen. That might lead us to think that perhaps Will Harris is going to be used as the closer tonight, with Gregerson warming up here in the 8th. 2 1/3 innings so far for Davinsky. So now the potential tying run is at the plate with Calhoun, a 17 home run hitter, batting. Calhoun singled to right off Davinsky in the 6th inning. And this is the rarity too for a reliever going the 2nd time through the order. That's ball 1 to Calhoun. A lot of relief pitchers would not be given that opportunity.
No, this is one earned.
Line to right field. That's in for a hit. 1 run will score. Ortega around to the plate. And it's now 4-2 with runners at 1st and 3rd and 1 out on the RBI single by Calhoun. That's his 69th run batted in. It's going to be it for Davinsky. AJ Hinch on his way out with Mike Trout due to bat next. Calhoun with 2 hits off Davinsky in this game. Still, Chris did a very fine job. It's 4-2, and Luke Gregerson's coming in for the Astros right after this. Here, Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite, showing you Brad Peacock. 5 excellent innings tonight.
Strong, and he used all 4 pitches. That repertoire is available in its entirety to him right now because he's throwing strikes with those pitches. Fastball topped out at 94. Good usage of the slider, curveball, and change. And another in a nice string of good outings by Brad Peacock.
Now 4-2 lead. Luke Gregerson inherits runners at first and third, 1 out with the 2-run lead. Mike Trout will be the batter. Albert Pujols on deck. Gregerson 4-1, 15 for 20 in saves. He's allowed runs in 3 of his last 4 appearances. And the Angels have seen quite a bit of him. 7 games. He's 3-0 with 2 saves and a .222 batting average. Trout is 3 for 12 lifetime against Gregerson. Trout is 0 for 1 with 2 walks in this game. And he started the bat on appeal to the first base umpire. He checked. Chad Fairchild ruling. He stopped his swing, and it's 1-0. Trout smiling with that.
I think he's getting a lot of razzing throughout the game from the Astros dugout.
Okay.
And seems to be a little just good times had back and forth.
He's always smiling, though, right?
He is. You're right.
On the corner, 1-1.
Well, I suggested that maybe Mike Trout wouldn't get some of the calls that some other guys do, but that might have been a pitch off the outside edge.
27,575 to paid attendance on a Saturday night. That's strike 2.
And that was a hanger. And I'll bet you Mike is kicking himself right now. This breaking ball is not where Luke wanted it.
.286 when behind the count. Two balls and 2 strikes. He's no longer behind.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons Mike Trout does tend to strike out a good deal is because he takes a lot of pitches, just taking strikes early in the count, and it sets him up for a lot of the strikeouts. But obviously the other numbers all stack up very well.
.3-2 now, so Trout has both walked and struck out more than 100 times this year. Gregerson's getting ready for a big pitch in this game. Out to center field. That'll dunk in for a hit to make it 4-3. Marisnick picks it up. Here's a play at second. Altuve with a tag, safe. Calhoun overran the base. Then he fell trying to get back. Trout gets the RBI single, and it's a 1-run lead.
Calhoun knew the situation well. He represents the tying run in this game, and he wanted desperately to get to third. Jake Marisnick saw it all on top of that and got to the ball. As you see Mike Trout just take a pitch that is so tough to handle and fight it into center field. But Jake knows exactly what's going on. He charges well and then tries to get the out coming back into second base. That's a big runner for the Angels right there.
Albert Pujols bats. Pujols 1 for 3, an RBI double in the 4th inning. 6 for 14 with a homer off Gregerson. C.J. Cron is on deck. He has struck out 3 times tonight. That's ball 1. Last time up for Pujols, he was ahead in the count 2-0, and then he wound up hitting into that force play on the good play by Correa. Grounded into 23 double plays 13% of the time when he's had the opportunity to do it.
These Angels haven't been told they're not in the race.
No, they have not. Now it's 2-0 again to Pujols. Gregerson last night gave up 2 hits and a run, working the 8th inning, and Pujols started that inning with a single to left field off him and scored. C.J. Cron was on deck, had a double off him last night. Right there for a strike. 2-1. Minnesota beats Seattle 3-2. Baltimore continues to lead 6-0 after 7 over Arizona. Inside on Pujols. That makes it 3-1 to Albert. The loss by Seattle drops the Mariners into an 81-73 record, the identical record as the Astros right now. Bouncer left side. Gurriel can't flag it down. A hit on through. Here's a tying run coming home. Throw from Teoscar Hernandez. It's 4-4 on the RBI single by Pujols. He's having a very big series. 2 runs batted in for Pujols tonight. That's 118 this season.
Boy. It's one of those ground balls that when you first see it in the infield, you think double play. But it finds its way through the left side. Teoscar's got to watch these throws. He needs to get it down and hit the cutoff man. That would have been disastrous if another man had moved up to third base, Mike Trout.
Now Cron, who last night doubled to right center off Gregerson after having started 0 for 10 in his career against him, with strike 1. That's 5 straight hits for the Angels. And they've created a tie here in the 8th. A career 1 for 11 for Cron against Gregerson. Davinsky in 2 1/3 innings allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, walking 1, fanning 5. It's 0-2.
C.J. Cron, a classic case of pulling off these sliders.
Right-handed hitters have hit just 135 off Gregerson this season. 189 in his career, but he's given up the back-to-back hits by Trout and Pujols. They are exceptional right-handed hitters. Foul back. Nope, not going to be a stop. The runners are going to move up. Castro got him in on it, but then it squeezed on back behind him, and Trout goes to third, and Pujols to second on that pitch in the dirt. A wild pitch by Gregerson.
I've said my piece on these. And
now the infield comes in. Runners at second and third now with 1 out. And a foul ball. Gustave and Will Harris are at work. Fly ball, shallow center. Marisnick hustling in. He lays out for it. He makes the catch. Here's the tag. And the throw is not going to get him at the plate. It's 5-4. Thrown with a very shallow sacrifice fly. A great catch by Marisnick, but it's enough to get Trout to the plate.
Well, if you're going to hit a fly ball like this with a man on third base, you better have Mike Trout as that runner at third. And you can see he does tag up. Great play by Jake, but it's too much for Mike Trout. It's another issue about this kind of play. Once the catch is made, it does take some time to get back up and make the throw.
He did it about as quickly as is possible, but A.J. Hinch will make a move now. The Angels have their first lead of the night. It's 5-4 in the 8th. Back in a moment. Since the third inning, now they have their first lead. It's 5-4 as they've rallied here in the 8th inning, and they've had another big inning late in the game. Last night they got 6 in the 9th. They're up 5-4, and pitcher number 4, Yandel Gustave, comes out of the Astros bullpen.
He's been showing really good stuff, and fastball up to 98+ miles an hour. Well, the Astros need to find a way to get things shut down and get the offense rolling once again.
Gustave, it takes a moment here, has been throwing the ball well, as you said, and had the crisp fastball Thursday night in the Astros 2-0 loss. He worked an inning and 2/3. That was hitless ball. Didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 3. He faces Andrelton Simmons, who's 0 for 3. And that's ball 1 to him. Who holds the runner at second? 2 outs in the inning. The Angels struck with 5 straight singles, then a sacrifice fly. There's been a wild pitch in the mix. In the air, and here's George Springer in right. Oh, it's a 4-run 8th. 5 hits for the Angels. They lead at 5-4 in the middle of the 8th inning.
as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Follow Astros Baseball Live with MLB.com's @BAT app. Stay up to the moment with Game Day, StatCast Live highlights, and more. Even at the game with Minute Maid Park's new Wi-Fi. Download the app for your phone or tablet now. Brownie.
Thank you, Julia. We have changes for the Angels now. The Astros looking for a rally in the bottom of the 8th inning against AT HOU, the new pitcher. In 24 games, he has no decisions. His ERA 3.18. Ortega stays in to play left field. And Pennington is in the game at second base now. After 7 stints with the Angels last year, we talked about that last night when he worked a hitless inning with 1 walk and no strikeouts. Evan Gattis faces him here, leading off the home 8th inning. The Astros down 5-4. They've been out hit 7-6. Gonzalez is on deck. Hernandez due up 3rd in the inning. Foul back, strike 1.
Well, that's the kind of swing you want right there to quickly get back in this kind of a game.
Achter is 28 years old. He went to Michigan State, born in Toledo, Ohio. 46th round choice of the Twins in 2010. It's 0-2 to Gattis. Achter came up with the Twins in 2014, had 11 appearances with them last year. And here with the Angels, he has pitched twice against the Astros this season. Gave up 3 runs in 3 innings here, June 20th. On a couple of home runs. Carlos Correa with a 2-run shot. Jason Castro homered off him that night. 1-2. Valdez in 1 inning allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, had 1 walk, and he struck out 2. And Valdez can be the winning pitcher now. Gattis looks at it. It's 2-2 to Evan. Now 3-2 to Gattis. Luke Gregerson in 1/3 of an inning allowed 2 hits, 1 run with no walks, no strikeouts. So the Astros really want to get this leadoff man on in the 8th, down by 1, with Marwin waiting next. Simmons to his right. Low throw, and Cron is able to dig it out.
Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for the city of Houston. Astros home runs by their direction right here in Houston at Minute Maid Park all time. Dead left field. You would figure that would be the big home run field, and right field. I'm surprised at the number of home runs that are listed as to center.
Yeah,
that's quite a big figure. I'll bet not many of those have gone over Towles Hill.
We're hearing that most of those classified as center field home runs are more to left center or right center, but still it's 404 to left center.
Big yard out there.
Marwin Gonzalez is 0 for 3. Strike 1 from Achter. Last 17 times Achter has taken the mound. He has pitched scoreless ball in 13 of those. Showing Bud, Marwin instead takes it, and it's 1-1. Escobar's on the grass at 3rd. Inside for ball 2. Dodgers lead the Rockies 4-0. They're in the top of the 3rd at Dodger Stadium. Scott Kazmir's hurt again. He just came back and got injured last night pitching. 3 balls and a strike. The Dodgers have had all kinds of injuries, and yet they have a nice lead over the Giants.
Another case of catcher setting up away, pitch coming in, and umpire unable to make that call. In this case, nice for the Astros.
Clayton Kershaw is pitching tonight for LA. 3-2.
I believe he's yet to win since returning.
That sounds right. Quite a night for Vin Scully last night as the Dodgers honored him. A lot of their great players came back. The commissioner of baseball was there. Vin, as always, eloquent and funny. To left field and laying out for it, unable to make the catch. Ortega. Gonzalez is on. Good effort, but Ortega unable to hold it, and Gonzalez gets the hit for the Astros, bringing up Teoscar Hernandez.
Well, you needed a start, but did Marwin go hard down the line? If he had, this might have turned into 2 bags, and that could be crucial. Certainly a catchable ball. Marwin come out of there. I would say he was not thinking double. And that 90 feet is so valuable.
That's hit number 7. Now Teoscar Hernandez with his first at bat of the night. Ball 1. He's hitting .212, 4 homers, 9 runs batted in, 85 major league at bats for Teoscar. Tyler White started the game at first base, batting 7th. He left as defensive changes were made, putting Hernandez in this 7th spot and in left field. He looks at it, it's a ball. 2-0. Jason Castro's on deck. Oscar is 0 for 4 in this Angels series. Strike. 2-1.
That bat probably didn't go out to the front of the plate either.
Jose Alvarez is warming up for the Angels. Fly ball to right. Calhoun. Marwin's going to tag it first, but the Calhoun's arm, he will not challenge it. 2 outs.
Had Marwin, however, been at second base, easy tag to third. As you say, 2 outs, so we'll see if that's critical.
Now there will be a change as the lefty Alvarez comes in. Lefty hitting Jason Castro due up next. Mike Scioscia wants to get percentages of lefty on lefty with a 1-run lead here in the 8th inning. Octor leaves after 2/3 of an inning. 5-4 Angels. Back in a moment.
presented by authority of Houston Astros, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros, LLC.
5-4, the Angels lead it. Fans watching as a pitching change brings pitcher number 4 of the night into the game. Jose Alvarez, a left-hander, will be facing not Jason Castro, but a pinch hitter for Castro, Max Stassi. He's 1-3 with a 3.60 ERA. Lefty's hitting .288. Righty's .319 against him, Ash.
And a lot of experience for the Astros against him this year, but he's pitched well.
Max Stassi is 0 for 6 with the Astros. Castro was 0 for 3 in this game. Stassi looks at it, and it's ball 1 for Alvarez. Stassi would love to break into that hit column with a delivery here after playing in AAA Fresno this season. He's hit .313 as a major leaguer since 2013 in limited trials. Now it's 2-0 to Max. Max has 9 career starts at catcher and 2 at DH in the big leagues. He played Tuesday at Oakland, coming in the 8th inning to catch.
I like what I see from him behind the plate.
Ground ball. Simmons on to second for the forced play on Gonzalez. That ends the 8th inning. We move to the 9th. 5-4 Angels. Evan Gattis at the Astros a run in the 3rd inning. They scored 2 unearned runs in that frame. Gurriel scoring on the sac fly, and then here's the Angel rally. They really put things together. Pujols had a double in the 4th inning, and then they put together a 4-run 8th. The Astros had taken a lead with those 2 in the 3rd inning. They got 2 more in the 7th, triple by Springer, and then the Halos made work there as they put together 5 straight hits. Calhoun, Trout, Pujols all driving in runs in that 4-run 8th inning rally. And they now lead at 5-4 as we go to the 9th. Wilson with a great catch, but that was a sac fly on Cron, and that gave them the 5-4 lead. With the line score, fans hoping that things can turn in the bottom of the 9th, but Yandel Gustave is concerned about the top half and keeping this at a 1-run deficit right now. Andrew Bailey, the closer, is working for the Angels. Cliff Pennington will lead it off here in the 9th. Pennington is in the game as a defensive replacement. Gregorio Petit left for a pinch hitter, and then Pennington came in. This is his first at bat, hitting .213 with 3 homers. Gustave hits the inside corner at 98 with strike one. He looks as if he could be very helpful to this bullpen next year.
Not just as a long guy, but a guy that could factor in late.
Fly ball out to left center. Marisnick churning for it. Marisnick on the run is able to maintain his balance and make a tremendous running catch.
You got to go long and hard to even make comparisons to Jake defensively in center field. For me, as good as they come, and he can throw on top of it. Great base runner. Get that bat going is the big thing with Marisnick.
Superb play. Looked like he might be ready to launch his body, but he just had the body lean and was able to stab it with his glove. Jet Bandy is 0 for 3 in this game. He looks at strike one. Bandy's 26 years old, from West Hills, California, and the University of Arizona. To right field toward the corner. Springer on the run for this one, and that drops in and gets out of play for a double. Bandy with a 2-base hit with 1 out.
Just slicing it down the line, and that wall in either corner here in this ballpark, big factors for outfielders that are hard on the charge.
8th double of the year for Bandy. Ortega will be next. He came off the bench to start that 4-run rally in the 8th with a single. Hit a shot by Jose Altuve. Fouls it away. There's strike one to Ortega. Ortega's 24 from, well, now 25 from Venezuela. Flares that one foul. It's no balls and 2 strikes. In the Astros 9th, Marisnick is due to lead off, and Springer and Gurriel. Bailey, the closer for the Angels, is a right-hander. 1-2. Bailey it will be, it appears, in the 9th inning. He's done well since joining this club and taking over as the closer. They've had injuries in that spot this year. Foul away, and it stays at 1-2.
Previous closer, Houston Street, a guy the Astros have gotten to, on more than one occasion.
Kevin Chapman is warming up for Houston. Now 2-2. Yandel Gustave. Looking young pitcher with that movement, that late movement and high velocity stuff. Line drive into right field. That'll drive in another to make it 6-4. And the Angels add on for Bailey. Ortega, the demon off the bench in this series. Bandy scoring, and the Angels have back-to-back doubles.
I don't know what you call it, playing loose, nothing to lose. All the slogans that get thrown out there, but it's working for the Angels in this series.
Now Pat Neshek warms up for Houston. Here's Brent Strom coming out for Escobar bats. 6 runs on 9 hits for the Angels. Once again, their late inning offense working to perfection for Mike Scioscia. They got 4 in the 8th and now have scored again here in the 9th with 1 out and have a runner in scoring position after the 1-run 8th last night and 6 in the 9th, winning at 10-6. Albert Pujols and company proving to be tough to beat in Houston on this trip after losing 11 in a row to the Astros earlier this year. Angels are 4 for 7 now with runners in scoring position. The Astros had been 5-0 against the Angels until this series rolled around in this ballpark. So now it's Escobar batting. Escobar has a single and a walk tonight. And there's strike 1. This Houston bullpen has logged 520 innings this season coming into this game tonight. That's 3rd in the American League in innings pitched by relievers on a club. One and one. Joe Musgrove and Daniel Wright will pitch tomorrow. Chapman and Neshek there. And the Mariners come in Monday night. It's Colin McHugh versus Hisashi Iwakuma. Foul back, and it's 1-2 on his
previous pitch. That slider in the dirt. Watch Stassi's approach. That's the way you do it. That's just gorgeous work. That's full commitment.
Bounce to third. Gurriel checks the runner. 2 outs. Now A.J. Hinch wants the lefty Chapman to face the lefty hitting Cole Calhoun. Wants to give his club a chance to rally here in the bottom of the 9th. Down by a couple. And will get percentages going his way, lefty on lefty, with the score 6-4 Angels when we return right after this. The Astros want to stop it right there by bringing in the lefty Kevin Chapman to face lefty hitting Cole Calhoun. And Chapman will be pitcher number 5 tonight for the Astros. In 5 games, he has no decisions. His ERA is 3.38.
Yeah, what you see about Kevin Chapman in the past is that walks have been his biggest enemy. Left-hand hitters right now are pretty abusive as well in limited opportunities, but they are not getting shut down, let's say that.
Pitched Monday night in Oakland and retired Stephen Vogt in a lefty-on-lefty confrontation, needing only 2 pitches to get him on a ground out to first. And he inherited a runner and kept him from scoring. Second stint for Chapman with the Astros this year. And it's Cole Calhoun stepping up. Calhoun has singled in the 6th and 8th, driving in a run in the 8th. He's 2 for 4. Mike Trout is on deck. Pat Neshek continues to warm up. He would be facing Trout if the inning did not end here with this batter. Fly ball right field toward the corner. That ball is trouble for the Astros. That one is a double. And it is 7-4. Third double of the inning for the Angels. Calhoun gets his 29th double of the year. Second RBI of the night gives him 70. And the Halos go up by 3. That will hasten another pitching change. Calhoun with a display of late hitting. Hits singles in the 6th and 8th and a double in the 9th. He's driven in a couple with those 3 hits. It's 7-4 Angels. We'll be right back. From behind here in the late innings. They dropped a 4-run 8th on the Astros, and now they've added 2 more in the 9th. And they have hit the double-figure hit column with 10. Pat Neshek is 2-2 with a 2.42 ERA in 57 games. Ash.
Really great numbers in terms of hits allowed this year. 28 in 44 and 2/3 innings. It's just about 5.5 per 9.
Mike Trout's the batter. Trout has been on 3 times, 2 walks and an RBI single for Mike. He has scored 2 runs tonight. Calhoun's the runner. It's strike 1 for Neshek. Neshek worked 2/3 of an inning Wednesday at Oakland, was not tagged with a run. There was an inherited runner who scored on a ground out, but that run was not charged to him. It's 1-1 for Pat. Albert Pujols is on deck. The Angels won 2-0 Thursday night, getting only 5 hits. They broke out offensively last night with a 10-run, 12-hit game, and tonight again in double figures with 10 hits and 7 runs so far. 2 balls and a strike. Rusnick, Springer, Gurriel due up in the Astros' 9th inning. Pop foul. Marwin Gonzalez on the run. Out of play for Marwin. 2-2. Marwin's only made 6 errors all season. Ash, with playing all the positions in the field.
Most guys would misplace all those gloves that many times over the course of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been really good.
Looks, and it's in tight for ball 3. Full count for Neshek. Right-handed hitters are managing a puny 155 average against Pat. Line drive left field. That'll drive in another to make it 8-4 Angels. And Trout speeds into second base. Another double. That's their 4th of the inning. Trout driving in his 2nd of the night. And Mike continues a superb season, giving him 97 runs batted in.
He was not content with an RBI single right there, I'll tell you that much. He was digging right away. It's a good player.
He just got his 32nd double. Outs have been tough to come by for the Astros here in the 8th and the 9th. Now they'll put Pujols on. He's 4 for 13 against Neshek. And work to C.J. Cron next. Gustave in 1 inning allowed 2 hits, 2 runs. No walks, no strikeouts. Chapman, no innings, 1 hit, 1 run with no walks, no strikeouts. And now Cron will be the 8th Angel to bat. Cron struck out his first 3 times, then he hit that shallow sac fly in the 8th inning. Risnick came in and made a diving catch on it. That was the one that put the Angels in the lead 5-4, and they have really added on. Cron takes a look at ball 1. The Astros had the 2nd best bullpen ERA in the American League coming into this game. 2 balls, no strikes. It was a 3.42 relief ERA for them. That was tied for 2nd with Kansas City. Only Cleveland has a lower relief ERA this season. That's into right field. Hit number 5 of the inning. Springer throwing to the plate. And on one hop, it comes into Stassi, not in time, and it's 9-4. Trout scoring. Cron with the RBI single after the intentional walk to Pujols.
Equal opportunity offending going on right now.
Boy, that's a rough inning for the Astros after a rough one in the 8th. Back-to-back 4 spots have been put on the scoreboard by the Angels in the 8th and 9th. Simmons is 0 for 4. That's 12 hits for the Halos tonight. And it's strike 1. Mike Trout, with 3 more runs scored tonight, is at 120 runs scored this season. That one is off the glove of Marwin Gonzalez. Altuve throws to the pitcher. Neshek can't catch it. The ball gets away. Pujols will trot home to make it 10-4. The ball goes out of play into the Astros dugout, and that freezes everything. It's an error on Marwin Gonzalez on the throw behind Neshek. And this game has really blown up in the late innings on Houston.
That's actually a tough error on Marwin there. To me, I hate to say it, but the error comes on the throw from Altuve.
Yeah, it should be 4.
Yeah.
So the error was charged for Altuve, who threw it wildly. That's his 7th error of the year. And it gets Simmons to second base.
Yep.
Okay, it was a double error. One error on Marwin, the other on Jose Altuve.
Yeah, a little harsh on that first one for me.
Right. And Cliff Pennington batting for the second time in the inning, takes strike one. Well, the Angels doing this for the second straight night, sending 10 men to the plate in the ninth inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. With Crone at third and Simmons at second now. That's low for a ball. Brett Oberholzer's now warming up for the Angels. They'll save closer Andrew Bailey for tomorrow afternoon's game. 2-1. That's rocked out to center field. Marisnick covers it. And the Angels, with a 5-run ninth, will take a 10-4 lead to the bottom half. Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Well, the Angels have gone places tonight as they try for their 3rd straight win in this 4-game series. They're leading by 6, 10-4, but they will go ahead and use their closer, Andrew Bailey. They had already warmed him up. These Astros fans are hoping for a miraculous 9th inning. And they have a big job to do as Alvarez departs after 1 inning. He gave up 1 hit, no runs with no walks and no strikeouts. And now here is the right-hander Bailey.
Yeah, you're right, Brownie. It's about coming up with something beyond a little extra right now. And the way things have been going in the series, it's going to take some extra effort right now to make that happen.
Bailey is 5 for 6 in saves, a 5.75 ERA, a 1.33 WHIP after signing as a minor league free agent August 12th. His ERA 3.24 in 9 games with the Angels. He got the save Thursday night in the 2-0 win, giving up a hit in the 9th inning from Jose Altuve, but then he got a double play ball. They strike 1 to Jake Marisnick. Revise those numbers on Alvarez. There's a strike. 1/3 of an inning. He retired the only batter he faced. Stassi, no hits, no runs. No walks, no strikeouts. Off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. George Springer's on deck. Yuli Gurriel due up third. Then Altuve could get an at bat here in the 9th if somebody gets on. That works for a strikeout of Marisnick for Bailey.
Just 4 fastballs pumped on in there.
Nothing subtle there, Ash.
Not a bit. And at 91, you got to wonder what's going on there.
George Springer's had a big night with 3 hits, including a run-scoring triple in the 7th inning. He came around to step on home plate for the 112th time. Big cut, strike one. Well, with the Detroit loss earlier today, Kansas City getting 5 in the ninth to beat the Tigers 7-4. The Astros had an opportunity to slice a game off the Tigers' lead as they took the field tonight. Springer has a 1-1 count. They were looking good as they took the lead to the 8th inning. It was 4-1. But the Angels have scored the next 9 runs in the game. Foul back, 1-2. Now the games are dwindling, just 7 games left after this one. Astros may have to win all 7.
Yeah, I would think so. I think that's accurate.
Yeah. Crone comes over for it. It's back out of play. Still 1-2. Hard to say, but there are other teams in front of them, so that is the difficult issue. If it's only one team in front of them, a much simpler way to accomplish that path. To center field, a 4th hit of the night for George Springer.
He had one of those hits to right field last night that I thought could set him up to stay on the baseball a little better, and it's paying off tonight.
Remaining, you see Toronto has 2 with the Yankees, 3 with the Orioles, 3 with the Red Sox. Detroit will move on after this Royals series to play 4 with the Indians, 3 with the Braves. Baltimore has 1 with the D-backs, 3 with the Jays, 3 with the Yankees. Seattle will come here and then finish with Oakland. And the Astros have 3 with the Mariners, and they will go to Anaheim for the final 3 games. So 4 remaining after tonight with the Angels. Still a shot. The percentages are low given by the experts on that. Springer's second 4-hit game of the year. Strike to Gurriel. He drove in Springer with a single to center in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 4. 8 hits for the Astros tonight now. That's fouled away, and it's 0-2. Angels are not holding Springer on at first.
Yeah, I think you take that bag if they don't eliminate the chance for the double play, eliminate that rare opportunity where the only out that can be acquired is at second base.
Simmons bobbles, flips, and gets the out. And that is out number 2. So Springer did not take the bag. They get the force play. And it's 2 outs.
Yeah, otherwise double play right here. But if you take the bag, they may get nothing out of this play. Clearly there would be no play at first. And I don't get it. George wasn't even sliding going into second.
Simmons was able to recover and make the flip to Pennington. Altuve now with the Astros down to their final out as Gurriel at first. He is 1 for 3 with a walk. He doubled in the first inning. Carlos Correa's on deck. Now Gurriel will head for second. There's a bounce to the third. Escobar to end it. And the Angels have won the first 3 of this 4-game series, 10-4 the final. The loss drops the Astros to 81 and 74.